very special session where we are going to listen to the experience of a self-organized collective. It is self-organized because it is not an NGO which has initiated this collective work. It is not a government agency or department which has done it, nor is it a market player or an enterprise or somebody who has started it. It is a self-organized local initiative, and it is a very, very inspiring story. So, Aparna Karthikeyan will, through her panel and through her interview, will help us understand what they are doing and how they are taking their work forward. May I invite Aparna to please come onto the stage and take her seat. And you could begin here because I think you will invite several members of the collective. Paramparya Vidyayagal Maya is the name of the group, Traditional Sweet Story. Thank you so much, Monica. Thank you so much for having us. I would like to invite P.T. Rajendra Maya to the stage, please. He's one of the founders of the Prasaranga Parliament. I would like to invite Karnataka students and Jyoti. Please join us on stage. And also somebody whose work is whose work is on the Karnataka model. Please stand to stage beyond it. We also. Lighting on the panel, please. Lighting on the panel, we need a handheld one. இந்த செஷன் வந்து தமிழ்ல கொஞ்சம் இப்போ இது தமிழ் தெரியும். இப்போ நான் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் கொஸ்டின் வந்து உங்கள்கிட்ட கேட்கறது வந்து இந்த பாரம்பரிய விதைகள் மையம் கலசப்பாக்கத்தில் இருக்குது, திருவண்ணாமலை மாவட்டம், தமிழ்நாட்டிலேருந்து நீங்கள் எல்லாம் வந்துருக்கீங்க. உங்கள் குழுவிலேருந்து நீங்கள் 40 பேர் வந்து சொல்லுவீங்க. ஸோ இந்த குழு பற்றி கொஞ்சம் எல்லாருக்கும் மக்கள் தெரிஞ்சுக்கிறதுக்காக தான் இந்த இப்போ மெயினாக வந்து ஃபர்ஸ்ட் கொஸ்டின் வந்து உங்களோட கட்டமைப்பு நீங்கள் எப்படி வந்து வகைப்படுத்துவீங்க? இந்த இயக்கத்தை தொடர்றதுக்கு உங்களுக்கு எப்படி எண்ணம் வந்துச்சு? அது ஏன் நீங்கள் வந்து இதை ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணீங்க? பொதுவாக வந்து எல்லா இயக்கங்களும் நீங்கள் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா அதுக்கு வந்து ஒரு ஃப்ரேம்வொர்க் வச்சுருப்பாங்க. அது பாலிசி கொடுக்கணும், இல்லை கவர்மெண்ட்டுக்கு மனு கொடுக்கணும், யூனிவர்சிட்டி செய்யணும், அந்த மாதிரி ஏதாச்சும் ஒரு இது வச்சுருப்பாங்க. நீங்கள் வந்து என்னெல்லாம் விஷயங்கள் என்னெல்லாம் வந்து ஆக்டிவிட்டிஸ் பண்ணுறீங்க உங்கள் புது மூலியமா உங்கள் கலெக்டிவ் மூலியமா அதை பற்றி கொஞ்சம் சொல்லுங்கள்.
வணக்கம் எல்லாருக்கும். பாரம்பரிய விதைகள் மையம் என்ற என்னுடைய கூட்டமைப்பு எந்த ஒரு அரசு சார்ந்தவர்களையும் சாராமல் விவசாயிகளை ஒருங்கிணைத்து நடக்கக்கூடிய ஒரு இயற்கை விவசாய கூட்டமைப்பாகும். நாங்கள் என்னென்ன பண்ணுறோம் அப்படின்னு கேட்டீங்கன்னா, விவசாயிகளை இயற்கை விவசாயிகளை ஒருங்கிணைத்து மாதாந்திர கூட்டம் 5ஆம் தேதி மாதாந்திர கூட்டம் போது விவசாயிகளோட அனுபவங்களை அவங்க கிட்ட இருந்து பெறக்கூடிய அனுபவங்களை மற்ற விவசாயிகளை தெரிஞ்சுக்கிற வகையில் அவங்களுக்கு நாங்கள் வந்து விவசாய நுணுக்கங்களை பகிர்றோம். மேலும் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா மாவட்டம் முழுவதும் நம்ம நிறுவனம் பண்ணுறோம். இது போல அதுக்கும் இல்லாமல் சுற்றுச்சூழல் மாநாடு, இயற்கை விவசாய மாநாடு அப்படிங்கிற பேரில் நாங்கள் பண்ணியிருக்கோம். மேலும் வந்து நமக்கு விவசாயத்துக்கு எதிரான ஒரு கொள்கைகளை அரசு நிலையை கொண்டு வரும்போது மென்மையான போக்கோட அரசுக்கு தெரிவிக்கிற நோக்கத்தில் வந்து நாங்கள் ஒரு அறவழி போராட்டமாக அவங்களுக்கு வலியுறுத்தி நான் சொல்கிறேன்.
ரொம்ப நன்றி. நீங்க வந்து இந்த குழு வந்து நீங்க ஒன் ஆஃப் ஃபவுண்டிங் மெம்பர்ஸா இருக்கீங்க. இப்போ இதுல வந்து ஃபர்ஸ்ட் சார் இப்போ வந்து பாரம்பரிய விதைகள் அந்த பேர் எதனால அந்த பேர் வந்து வச்சுங்க?
இப்போ கோபி சொன்னாங்க, நாங்கள் தொடங்கும்போது இயற்கை விவசாய அமைப்புகள் நம்மளோட மற்ற தமிழகத்தில் ஓகே வழங்குகிறது. குறிப்பாக இயற்கை விவசாயிகளை விடுதலுக்கு பற்றி தான் பள்ளிகளை பற்றி இதோட சோதனையை பற்றி எல்லாரை பற்றியும் வந்து இடுபொருட்களை பற்றி தான் பேசுகிறாங்க, விதைகளை பற்றி எழுதியிருக்காங்க. ஸோ பசுமை புரட்சிக்கு மிக அடிப்படையானது விவசாயிகள்லாம் விவாதம் பண்ணி காரணம் இந்த ஹைபிரிட் தான். இந்த ஹைபிரிட் தான் ரசாயன உரங்கள் தேவை, பூச்சிக்கொல்லி தேவை, அதுக்கு தான் நீர் தேவை. மற்ற இல்லாமல் உபரி உற்பத்தி தரத்துக்கு இந்த ஹைபிரிட் தான். விவசாயிகளுக்கு மிகப்பெரிய நெருக்கடி உருவாக்குறது வேறு சர்ப்ளஸ் தான். அதிகமான உற்பத்தி தான் வந்து இந்த பாரம்பரிய விதைகள் உற்பத்தி பாரம்பரிய விதைகளை கையில் எடுத்து அந்த காலகட்டத்தில் நம்ம இந்த முக்கியமான தலைவர்களை அதை பற்றி அதிகமாக பேசும்போது கருப்பு இயற்கை பிரச்சனை கருப்பு இப்போ தொழில் வருமா என்ன பண்ணாங்கன்னா குப்பையை போடுறது இயற்கை வராங்க, இயற்கை வராங்கன்னா பஞ்ச வைத்திய இயற்கை வராங்க. இப்படி இயற்கை வராங்க டைவர்ட் பண்ணுறதுனா தொழில் இயற்கை விவசாய குழுக்கள் செயல்படுத்த நாங்கள் விதைகளை மையப்படுத்தணும் அப்படின்னு ஒரு தலைப்பில் நாங்கள் போகணும். ஏன்னா கர்நாடகாவுடைய மிக முக்கியமானது இந்த பசுமை புரட்சியுடைய மிக முக்கியமான கூறுகளில் மரபு விதைகளை அழிச்சு தான் பெரிய இதுவாக இருக்கும்போது அதனால் மரபு விதைகளை மீட்டெடுக்கிற வகையிலும் மரபு விதைகளுக்கு அதிக முக்கியத்துவம் கொடுக்கிற வகையில் தான் பாரம்பரிய விதைகள் மையம் அப்படின்னு சொல்லி நாங்கள் விதைகளை தேட ஆரம்பித்தோம். விதைகள் நாங்கள் தேடும்போது பார்த்தீங்கன்னா திருவண்ணாமலை மாவட்டத்தில் 2 விதை தான் கிடைக்குது. தெலங்கானா ஐயா விடையெல்லாம் கிடைக்கும்போது ஒரு 56,000 விதைகள் இருக்குது. இன்னைக்கு வந்து இந்த சிஐடிஎஸ்க்கு பயன்படுத்தாங்க. பழைய இடங்களும் அந்த விதைகள் தேடி பயணம் பல பயணங்களுக்கு நிறைய விதைகள் உருவாயிருக்கு. இன்றைக்கு தமிழ்நாட்டில் 100 விதைகள் இருக்குது. ஆனால் தொடக்க காலங்களில் கிட்டத்தட்ட ஒரு 40 பழம் அதனால் விதைகளை மையப்படுத்துவதற்காக தான் பாரம்பரிய விதைகள் மையம் இருக்காங்க.
சூப்பர் சார். இன்னைக்கு சூழலில் நீங்க பாத்தீங்கன்னா வேளாண்மையிலேயே வந்து நிறைய ஒரு ஜார்கன் வந்துச்சு. அதாவது பொலிட்டிக்கல் எக்கானமி, அக்ரோ எக்காலஜி, சஸ்டைனபிலிட்டி இந்த மாதிரி வார்த்தைகளை சூழ்ந்து தான் வந்து எல்லாமே பேசப்படுது. ஆனா நீங்க வந்து பாரம்பரிய விதைகள் நீங்க உங்களோட ஒரு கூட்டத்திலையும் நான் ஒரு கொஞ்சம் கூட்டம் சொல்லியிருக்கேன். இந்த மாதிரி ஒரு எந்த டேர்ம்ஸும் நீங்க யூஸ் பண்ண மாட்டீங்க. ஆனா நீங்க வந்து நிதானமாக நீங்க வந்து செயல்பட்டுட்டே இருக்கீங்க, ரொம்ப காலமா செயல்பட்டு இருக்கீங்க. இது எப்பலேருந்து தொடங்கிச்சு? நீங்க உங்களோட தலைப்பு எப்பலேருந்து தொடங்கிச்சு?
இயற்கை விவசாயத்தில் ஏதோ அதாவது சாதாரணமாக ஆழமான மிகப்பெரிய சர்ச்சைக்காக அனுதினமும் லைப்ரரியில் இருக்கிற நிறைய பத்திரிகைகள் இருக்குது. தமிழ்நாட்டில் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா எந்த மாநிலமும் அது பசங்களோட விவசாயிகள் இருக்கிறோம். அப்புறம் நாம் தமிழர்கள் நிறைய பத்திரிகைகள் நீங்கள் பத்திரிகை செய்திகள் நிறைய இந்து வருது. நம்ம ஒரு கூட்டத்துக்கு முன்னாடி நிறைய தகவல்கள் கேட்டு தான் இந்த கூட்டம் எங்களுடைய கூட்டங்களை லைப்ரரி தான் தீர்மானிக்கும். எங்கள் நூலகத்தில் நிறைய உடனே எந்த ஒரு விஷயமாக சரி, ஒரு உறவு பிரச்சனையாக சரி, மாணவர் நேரடி எதிர்ப்பு பண்ணாலும் சரி, எந்த ஒரு விஷயமும் பத்திரிகைகள் நிறைய வருது. விவசாயிகளுடைய நெருக்கடிகள் இதெல்லாம் நாங்கள் உருவாக்கி தான் கூட்டு போகிறோம். விவசாயிகள் உண்மையிலே அதே நேரத்தில் விவசாயிகள் ஏதோ கூட்டத்தை மட்டும் இல்லை, ஒவ்வொரு கிராமமாக போய் விவசாயிகள் சாப்பிட்டு ஒரு கொஞ்ச நேரம் செலவு பண்ணி இதெல்லாம் பண்ணி அவங்களுடைய பிரச்சனைகளை தெரிஞ்சு வைக்க போகிறோம். அதனால் எனக்கு இதோட பிரச்சனைலாம் வரல. இந்த வேளாண்மையை பற்றியும் எங்களுடைய முன்னோர்கள் என்ன பண்ணாங்களோ அதெல்லாம் எனக்கு தெரியும். நாங்கள் இப்போ புதுசாக கற்றுக்கிறதில்ல. எனக்கு ஒரு 60 வயசு ஆகுது. நான் ஒரு வந்து விவசாயம் பண்ணிட்டோம். எனக்கு தெரியுதான் நவீன வேளாண்மை ஐயாயிரே வருது. ஸோ அதனால் கடன் மாறாமல் போகிறதுக்கு அனுபவங்களும் அந்த தேவையில்லாத வார்த்தைகள்லாம் பயன்படுத்தாங்க. மனு கொடுக்குற வேலையெல்லாம் இல்லாமல் விவசாயிகள் விழிப்புணர்வு மூலமே 50% பிரச்சனை தீர்க்க முடியும். ஏன் 80% பிரச்சனை தீர்க்க முடியும். அதைத்தான் நம்ம மையப்படுத்தி வாசிப்பு, கலந்துரையாடல், பயணம், இது 3மே எங்களுக்கு பெரிய நாலேஜ் கொடுக்குது. இதில் என்னென்னா நீங்கள் விவசாயிகளை கலந்துரையாடல் ஆர்வம் நாங்கள் ஒரு நிறைய ஸ்பீக்கர் பேச வச்சு நேரத்தை ஓடிட்டு கொடுக்குறோம். கலந்துரையாடல் எவ்வளோ பெரிய ஆகணும், 10 நிமிஷம் 15 நிமிஷம் புதிய விவசாயிகள் பேச அவங்க எண்ணத்தை விருப்பத்துக்கு அந்த இடம் கிடைக்கும். நீங்கள் விவசாயிகள் பேச வைக்கிறது மூலமாக நீங்கள் மாற்றத்தை கொண்டு வரணும். ஒரு பேச்சாளர் பேசுகிறத விவசாயிகள் பிரச்சனைகளை பேசுவது, விவசாயிகள் நடவடிக்கைகளை மாற்றத்தை கொண்டு வரணும். உரையாடல் தான் தவிர அந்த உரையாடல்கள்லாம் தான் தொடர்ந்து வந்துருக்காங்க. அது அந்த வகையில் பயனுள்ளதாக இருக்குது. ரயிலோ மக்களோட கல்வியாளருடைய மக்களை தான் நாங்கள் எங்களுக்கு உதவிகரமாக இருக்கிறது எல்லாமே ஆசைப்படுறோம்.
அதாவது இந்த உங்களோட இந்த கூட்டமைப்பு வந்து தாலுகா, மாவட்டம் அப்படின்னு நினைக்காம நீங்க உலக அளவில் நடக்கிற விஷயங்கள் தான் நீங்க வந்து உங்க கலசப்பாட்டு மீட்டிங்க்கு நீங்க எடுத்துட்டு போகணும். அதாவது இப்போ வெனிசுலாவில் நடக்கிறது, யுஎஸ்ஏல நடக்கிறது, நியூசிலாந்து ரிப்போர்ட் பண்ணுறது, எந்த விஷயமா இருந்தாலும் நீங்க அதை பற்றி அலசி டிபேட் பண்ணிக்கணும். விவாதம் நடக்குது, உங்க குடும்பத்திலே விவாதம் நடக்குது. எங்கேயோ நடக்குது, அதை பற்றி நமக்கு என்னன்னு அப்படின்னு நீங்க விடுறதில்லை. அதாவது நீங்க லோக்கல்ல நடக்கிற விஷயங்களும் பேசுறீங்க, குளோபல்ல நடக்கிற விஷயங்களும் பேசுறீங்க. அதாவது இது வந்து ஒரு பெரிய அரசியல் நீங்க செய்யறது. இது உணவு அரசியலா இருக்கட்டும், விதை சார்ந்த அரசியலா இருக்கட்டும், இந்த மாதிரி விஷயங்கள்லாம் நீங்க எப்படி சூஸ் பண்றீங்க சார்? அதாவது எப்படி பேலன்ஸ் பண்றீங்க?
இப்போ உதாரணமாக பாமாயில் இருக்கும்போது மனித விவசாயம் என்ன செய்யுது இம்போர்ட் பண்ணக்கூடிய பாமாயில் தான் நிலக்கடை விவசாயம் ஆயிடுச்சு. ஸோ நீங்கள் வந்து விவசாயத்துக்கு என்ன பண்ணுறோம், பாமாயில் வந்து நியாய விலை கடையில் தமிழ்நாட்டில் 100 ரூபாய்க்கு போடுவாங்க. ஸோ நிலக்கடலை என்ன ஒரு கட்டுப்படியான விலை நீங்கள் குளோபலைஸ் இந்தியாவில் உலக அளவிலான இப்போ நீங்கள் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா இப்போ எங்களுக்கு வந்து மிகப்பெரிய திருவண்ணாமலை மாவட்டம் நிலக்கடலை விலை இப்போ தான் சமீபத்தில் படிப்படியாக விழா இருந்தது. முடிஞ்சு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா பருப்பு ஒரு எக்கச்சக்கமான பருப்பு இறக்குமதினால தான் இன்னைக்கு 80 ரூபாய்க்கு 160 ரூபா கவர்மெண்ட் வந்து நீங்கள் 100 ரூபா அளவுக்கு ஸ்டாண்டர்ட் மாறிட்டு விலை சரிவு வந்து இம்போர்ட்டட்னால இருக்கிறதுனால நம்ம சாதாரண விவசாயிகளும் தெரியாது. ஆனால் வாசிப்பதற்கும் பல இடங்களில் போகிறதுக்கும் பல பள்ளிகளில் விவசாயி கருத்து படிக்கும்போது கண்டிப்பாக தெரியுது. இன்னொன்று ப்ராக்டிக்கலாக வந்து விவசாயிகளுடைய தாம்சானியாவில் நடக்கக்கூடிய விவசாயிகளுடைய மிகப்பெரிய மாநாடு நம்ம வழிகாடு. இந்த அவங்களுடைய 600 பேர் கொண்ட மாநாடு மிகப்பெரிய ஒரு தீர்க்கத்தில் பிரச்சனை. அதில் என்ன போட்டுருக்காங்கன்னா தாம்சானிய விவசாயிகளுடைய அட்டென்ஷன் வந்து ரொம்ப முக்கியமானது. விவசாயிகளுடைய பன்னாட்டு நிலத்தை எப்படி எதிர்கொள்ளணும் அப்படிங்கிறது அந்த தாம்சானிய விவசாயிகளுடைய நாளைக்கு போகிறீங்க. நீங்கள் தேவையான நிறைய செய்திகள் வருகிறது. காட்டன் விவசாயிகளுடைய அமெரிக்கா படிப்பு இறக்கப்படலாம், விவசாயிகளை கட்டுப்படியாக போகும், மரபணு விவசாயிகளை தற்கொலை பண்ணிக்கிறாங்க காட்டில் வருகிறோம். ஸோ மரபணு விதைகளுக்கு எதிராக ஒரு போராட்டம் போகும் போது 5 லட்சம் விவசாய தற்கொலை இங்கே அரசியலாக பார்க்க முடியாது. நீங்கள் ஒரு ஏதோ ஒரு 10 விவசாயிகளுக்கு ஒரு இடத்துல செஞ்சு போராடுறது 5 லட்சம் விவசாயிகள் தற்கொலை பண்ணிக்கிறாங்க. கர்நாடகாவில் இன்னைக்கு சமீபம் போன வருஷம் வந்து பார்த்தீங்கன்னா இந்தியாவிலே 2வது இடம் தற்கொலை பண்ணிக்கிறாங்க. ஸோ இதுக்கெல்லாம் காரணம் உற்பத்தி பண்ணணும், நம்முடைய நியாயமான இம்போர்ட்கள் எல்லாம் பெரிய காரணம் இருக்குது. அதே போல் நம்முடைய உற்பத்தி முறையை வந்து கவனம் செலுத்தி போட்டால் நம்ம மதிப்பு போடுறது நம்முடைய இப்படியெல்லாம் வாழ்க்கை தக்க வச்சுக்கிறது டிசைனிங் நம்ம கொஞ்சம் யோசனை பண்ணி ஒரு விவாதம் பண்ணலாம், கண்டிப்பாக மாற்ற உருவாங்க. அரசு துணை எல்லாமே நம்மளால் மாற்ற முடியும். அரசியல் டிபெண்ட் பண்ணாமே நம்முடைய வாழ்க்கையை அது காம்சானியில் சொன்னார், விவசாயி வாழ்க்கை விவசாயிகள் தான் காப்பாற்ற முடியும், யாரும் காப்பாற்ற முடியாது. அரசு காப்பாற்றவே காப்பாற்ற அரசை நம்பி நாங்கள் தொடர்ந்து 50 ஆண்டுகள் இறந்தாச்சு. அதனால் இனிமேல் விவசாய தற்கொலை நாளாக மிகப்பெரிய ஒரு பார்க்க எல்லாம் தற்கொலை. அதனால் விவசாயிகள் நம்முடைய பிரச்சனைகளை நாம் விவாதம் பண்ணணும், நம்முடைய ஒன்று செய்து நம்மளை நம்ம தகவமிச்சிக்கணும். பிரச்சனை பூச்சிக்கொல்லிகளை பார்த்து பூச்சிகள் தகவமிச்சிக்கணும். நீங்கள் ஒவ்வொரு இடமும் காலநிலை மாற்றத்துக்கு தன்னை தகவமிச்சிக்கணும். விவசாயத்துக்கு வெளியேறாமல் தன்னை தகவமிச்சிக்கிற முறையை உருவாக்குறது நம்ம எழுதி பிரச்சனைக்கு விடுபட்டுலாம். அதனால் அந்த விடுபடுறதுக்கான வாய்ப்பு கூட்டு விவாதத்தில் தான், கூட்டு பயணங்கள் தான். ஒவ்வொரு இடத்துல பண்ணாலும் ஒரு ஐடியா இருக்குது. வணிகத்துக்கு ஒரு மிகப்பெரிய வாய்ப்பாக இருக்குது. இந்த இடம் வந்து மிகப்பெரிய கிடைச்சிருக்கு. இதனால் நீங்கள் சந்தைப்படுத்துவோ பண்ணுவோ எங்களுக்கு எல்லாமே பல இடங்கள் போகும்போது கட்டலாம். அதில் எங்கள் உலகம் இருக்குது இப்படி எதிர்கொள்ளலாம் என்பதை அரசியல்வாதிகள் கற்றுக்கிட்டு விவசாயத்தை தான் நம்ம யூஸ் பண்ணோம். நல்ல நீ எடுத்து டோரில் வச்சா நீங்கள் தமிழ்நாட்டில் வேளாண்மையை எதிராக பேசி இந்த பாமாயில் பேசி செக்கு நீங்கள் தமிழ்நாட்டில் பெரிய வருமானத்தை கொடுக்கிறார்கள் நிலக்கடை விவசாயம் இது வேறு வந்து காரணம் தமிழ்நாட்டுடைய செக்கு காரணம் வந்து அதனால் ஓரளவுக்கு நம்ம சக்தி வந்து 50% பிரம்மாண்டமான மாவட்டத்துடைய விவசாயிகள் இணைந்தால் கிட்டத்தட்ட ஒரு 3 ஆண்டுகளே என்னுடைய வாழ்க்கை தக்க வச்சுக்கணும் தேவை தேவைதான்.
வேளாண்மையில வந்து ஒரு 3 விதமான சிக்கல்கள் வந்து பெரும்பாலும் சொல்றாங்க. ஒண்ணு வந்து பருவநிலை மாற்றம், அது எல்லாருக்குமே நம்ம கண்டிப்பாக நடக்குது. இன்னொன்று வந்து சாதிய பிரச்சனைகள், இன்னொன்று வந்து பாலியல், அதாவது ஆண் பெண் பாகுபாடு. இது மூணுமே வந்து சில சமயம் வந்து ஒன்னாவே வந்துடும். இந்த மாதிரி வந்து சிக்கல்களை நீங்க எப்படி வந்து எதிர்க்கிறீங்க? உங்க குழுல இது எப்படி சமாளிக்கிறீங்க சார்?
முதலாவதாக நீங்கள் சொல்வது இப்போ நம்ம பாரம்பரிய விதைகள் மையம் விதையை கொடுக்கிற விவசாயத்தை எடுத்துக்கிறது 50% இருக்குது. அப்படி அந்த விவசாயத்தினுடைய விதையை இன்னொரு விவசாயத்தை கொடுக்கிறது அவர் அந்த பருவத்துக்கான ரகத்தை தான் கொடுக்குறாரா அல்லது அந்த காலத்தினுடைய தாங்கி வளர்க்கிற விதையை கொடுக்குறாரா தெரிஞ்சு அவருடைய விலை அமைப்பு தான் விதையை விற்பனை பண்ணுறோம். ஒரு வியாபார நோக்கத்தில் நம்ம விதையை விற்பனை பண்ணணும். நிச்சயமாக அந்த விவசாயிகளை அந்த பருவங்களை அதேபோல வரக்கூடிய பருவங்கள் வந்து காலநிலை எப்படி இருக்கும்போது நம்ம மாதாந்திர விவாதிக்கிறோம். எதை செய்யணும் எப்போ செய்யணுன்றது நம்ம அப்படி விவாதித்து நம்ம விதையை கொடுக்கணும். நிச்சயமாக விவசாயிகள் வந்து மாற்றத்தால் மேம்படுத்தக்காக பாதிப்பு இருக்கும். மட்டும் அடித்து போட்டு செய்வதற்காக ஈஸியாக அந்த பயிற்சி வந்து எல்லாருக்கும் பாதியை காப்பாது. இந்த பாரம்பரிய விதைகள் மையம் என்பது வந்து ஒரு அமைப்பு கிடையாது, சேர்க்கக்கூடிய அமைப்பு கிடையாது. யாரும் வழியை வந்து குழுவில் சேரணும். இந்த வரக்கூடிய விவசாயிகள் எல்லாமே முன்னெடுத்தே அதில் முன்னாடி வரக்கூடிய அலைவர்கள் ஊராட்சி மன்ற கொள்கையில் ஆழ்ந்த ஈடுபாடு கொண்டு தானாக விவசாயத்துக்கு அதிலிருந்து நமக்கு வந்து பேசுறதுனால அப்படி வரக்கூடிய விவசாயிகள் முதல் நம்ம பேசலாம் தெரிஞ்சது. நான் முதல்ல அவங்க சொல்லக்கூடிய விஷயம் என்ன தெரியுமா, வரீங்க நீங்கள் பேசுறீங்க, நீங்கள் பல மதம் சார்ந்து இருக்கலாம், அல்லது ஒரு சாதி சார்ந்து ஒரு சாதனை இருக்கலாம், ஒரு அரசியல் கட்சியை சார்ந்து இருக்கலாம், அது எல்லாத்தையும் வெளியே காட்டி அந்த மாதிரி பேசுங்க. அந்த மாதிரி பேசும்போது உங்களுக்கு அந்த பாதுகாப்பு இங்கே வராது. இந்த கூட்டத்தில் அவங்க படிக்கலாம் சொன்னால் சமுதாயத்தில் அவங்க அந்த மாதிரி நிலைப்பாடு சமாளம் நிலைப்பாடு தான் அவங்க. இன்னும் இந்த இயற்கை விவசாயத்தில் வந்து நீங்கள் பாதுகாப்போடு இருக்க முடியுமா அப்படின்னு நிச்சயமாக நீங்கள் இயற்கை விவசாயத்தை ஜெயிக்க முடியும். ஏன்னு சொன்னால் நீங்கள் இயற்கை விவசாயத்தில் இருக்கக்கூடிய விவசாயிகள் எப்படின்னா ஒரு கிராமத்துக்கு வந்து ஒரு விவசாயம் 2 விவசாயம் 3 விவசாயம் இருக்கும். நான் வந்து ஏற்கனவே ரசாயன விவசாயிகளால் பூமிப்படுத்தப்பட்டேன். அப்போ ரசாயன விவசாயிகள் என்ன பண்ணுவாங்க, வேலைக்கு வருவாங்க. அவங்களுடைய நிலத்தில் இருக்கிற வேலையான விஷயங்கள் இவங்க நிலத்துக்கு வேலை ஏற்கனவே வந்து வேலை நான் வந்து இயற்கை பயன்பாட்டை தவிர்த்து மனித ஆற்றலை மட்டுமே பயன்படுத்தி விவசாயத்தை செய்யணுன்ற மனித ஆற்றல் எப்படி இருந்தாலும் நம்ம அதை பயன்படுத்தி தான் பண்ணுறாங்க. அதுக்கு நம்ம காலத்தோட கற்றுக்கு அவங்க தான் இயங்க வேண்டாம் அவங்க வேண்டாம் நம்ம ஒதுக்கி வச்சு அந்த புரிதலை நம்ம உருவாக்குறதுனால நீங்கள் அந்த பிரச்சனை எங்களுக்கு இல்லை. இயற்கை வழி விவசாயத்தை பண்ண ஆனால் ரசாயன விவசாயத்தை எதுதான் கிடையாது அந்த பிரச்சனை தான் இருக்குது. அதுக்கு அவங்க அந்த ரசாயன யாரெல்லாம் முன்னெடுக்கிறாங்க அவங்க தான் அதுக்கான சரிப்படுத்துகிறாங்க. நாம் தான் பிரச்சாரம் பண்ணுறோம். இப்போ நம்ம மாநாடு நடத்துகிறோம், ஒரு விதைத்துறை நடத்துகிறோம், உணவு துறை நடத்துகிறோம், நம்ம ஊராக பிரச்சாரத்துக்காக போகும்போது நம்ம இதெல்லாம் சொல்கிறோம். அவங்க நம்ம கூட்டத்தில் வரும்போது அவங்களுக்கும் நம்ம சொல்கிறோம், புரிஞ்சுக்கிறது நம்ம நோக்கிக்கிறோம். அடுத்து ஆண்களின் பாதுகாப்பு சொல்லுங்க. இயற்கை விவசாயத்தை நம்ம பேசும்போது நிலத்தில் பெரும்பாலும் வளர்க்கப்படுறது கொஞ்சம் அங்கே வந்து ரொம்ப உழைக்கிறாங்க. ஆனால் நடவு பணியாற்றோ அறுவடை பணியாற்றோ அவங்களுடைய ஈடுபாடு கொஞ்சம் அதிகமாக இருக்கும். ஆனால் பெரும்பாலான நாட்கள் வேலையில் இருக்கிறது யாருன்னு பார்த்தா பெண்கள் தான். அந்த பெண்கள் ரொம்ப முன்னுரிமை இருக்குது. ஆண்களும் அந்த சமமாக அவங்களுடைய பணிகளை ஷேர் பண்ணிக்கிறாங்க, பகுத்து செய்கிறதுனால அங்கே வந்து ஏற்றத்தாழ்வு இந்த இயற்கை விவசாயத்தை பொறுத்தவரை இருக்கிறதில்ல. இதுக்கு முக்கியமான ஒரு காரணம் என்னன்னா இயற்கை விவசாயத்தில் வரும்போது உங்களுக்கு ஒரு நல்ல புரிதல் இருக்கு. இந்த வயலில் இருக்கக்கூடிய புழு பூச்சிகள் கூட நீங்கள் தீர்வு வைக்கக்கூடாதுன்னு சொல்லிட்டு எந்த வித ரசாயனமும் பயன்படுத்துறதில்லை, பூச்சிகளையும் பயன்படுத்துறதில்லை. அப்படி இருக்கும்போது சம வழியாக வந்து நீங்கள் ஏற்றத்தாழ்வோட பார்க்குறீங்க, ஏற்றத்தாழ்வோட நடத்துறீங்கன்னா நீங்கள் இயற்கை விவசாயத்தை ஜெயிக்க முடியாதுன்றதை நம்ம திரும்பவும் சொல்லிடுறாங்க. இந்த அதுக்கான அறிவியல் எதுவும் இல்லை, எல்லாமே சிறப்பாக போயிட்டு சொல்லுங்க.
ரொம்ப நன்றி சார், ரொம்ப அருமையாக சொல்லுங்க சிவா சார். லாஸ்ட் கொஸ்டின் சார், நீங்க இப்போ வந்து இந்த அமைப்பு மற்ற இடங்கள்ல இதே மாதிரி இந்தியா நீங்க தமிழ்நாடும் எடுத்துக்கோங்க, அதை தவிர நம்ம இந்தியா முழுவதுமே எடுத்துக்கோங்க. சிறு குறு விவசாயிகளுக்கு முக்கியமான தேவைகள் அதெல்லாத்தையும் பூர்த்தியாக முடியும் இந்த குழுவாக.
அனைவருக்கும் வணக்கம். மாலை பூஜை மிக சிறந்த ஒரு கூட்டத்தில் கலந்துருக்கிறது மிக மிக மகிழ்ச்சியாக இருக்கு. இப்போ வேளாண்மை இந்தியா முழுக்க ஒரே மாதிரி தான் நடந்துட்டு இருக்கு. இயற்கை வேளாண்மைக்கு நாம் ஏன் நகரம்னா நீரும் காற்றும் மண்ணும் மாசு இந்த சரிசூழலாம் வேளாண்மை முறைகளில் மாற்றம் வேணுன்றத எல்லோரும் உணர்றோம். நம்ம இங்கே கூடியிருக்கிற எல்லோரும் உணர்றோம். இதை ரசாயன உரங்கள் பயன்படுத்தக்கூடிய விவசாயிகளுக்கும் நம்ம சொல்லணும், சொல்லி அதை சரி செய்யணும், அவங்களும் மாறணும் அப்படின்ற அந்த கருத்தியல் அடிப்படையில் தான் நாம் இதை இந்தியா முழுக்க கொண்டு செல்லணும். மருத்துவம் மிக வணிகமாக மாறிவிட்டது. போதிய நமக்கு விலை இல்லை. அதாவது 100% நமக்கு உடல்நிலை சரியில்லாமல் போனால் மருத்துவத்தின் மூலமா நமக்கு உடல்நிலை சரியாயிடலாம். எல்லா வகையான நோய்களுக்கும் சரியான ஒரு தீர்வாக இருக்கு. நிரந்தர தீர்வுங்கிறது நம்ம உணவு முறைகள் அப்போ உணவு சுத்தமானதாகவும் ஆரோக்கியமானதாகவும் இருந்தால்தான் நாம் அந்த நிலைக்கு போக முடியும். அந்த அடிப்படையில நாம் இந்த இயற்கை வேளாண்மை தான் அதுக்கு காரணமாக இருக்கும். உணவு ஆரோக்கியமானதாக இருக்கணும்னா நமக்கு இந்த இயற்கை வேளாண்மையில காரணம். இப்போ எங்களோட அமைப்பு ஏன் இந்தியா முழுக்க கொண்டு போக முடியுமா அப்படின்னா கொண்டு போக முடியும். இதுல நான் எங்களுக்கு எந்த வகையான பொருளாதார செலவு இல்லை. நாங்க இங்க பணத்தை கலெக்ட் பண்ணல, ஒன்றும் பண்ணல, கருத்தியலாக தான் கட்டப்பட்டிருக்கோம். அதாவது இயற்கை வேளாண்மைன்ற அந்த அடிப்படை சிந்தனையில கருத்தியலாக நடத்தப்பட்டிருக்கோம். அந்த கருத்தியல் தான் ஒவ்வொருத்தரையும் அன்பாலும் கல்வியாலும் ஒருத்தருக்கு கல்வி பரிமாறும். அதே அடிப்படையில தான் நம்ம இந்தியா முழுக்க கொண்டு போவோம். சொன்ன மாதிரி மனிதர்களுக்கு மட்டுமே நம்ம கல்வியை காமிக்கிறோம்னா அது இயற்கை வேளாண்மை இல்லைதான். பூச்சிகள், தாவரங்கள் அனைத்துக்கும் நம்ம அந்த கல்வி உணர்வை வெளிப்படுத்தும் போது தான் நாம் உண்மையாகவும் வெற்றி அடைய முடியும். இறையர்கள் நமக்கு கிடைக்கும் நான் நினைக்கிறேன். இறையர்கள் அல்லது இயற்கை முக்கியமாக இருக்கலாம். நம்ம அறியாமை விளக்கம் நினைக்கிறோம். உண்மையான அந்த தத்துவத்தின் அடிப்படையில் நம்ம செயல்படுத்துதான் நமக்கு அந்த இறையர்கள் கிடைச்சி, இயற்கையர்கள் கிடைச்சி நம்ம அறியாமை விலகும். இந்த தீங்கு எல்லாமே நம்ம விட்டு விலகும் நினைக்கிறேன். இந்த தீங்கு நான் சொல்றது இந்த ரசாயன உரங்கள், தலைக்கொல்லி, பூச்சிக்கொல்லி, பூஞ்சான கொல்லி அனைத்துமே போகும். 2022 இந்த மைசூர் மாநாடு அசாமில் நடந்த மாநாட்டில் ஐயாவோட வழிகாட்டுதலின் பேர்ல நான் இங்க வந்தோம். அப்போ நாங்கள் ஒரு 1வது படிக்கிற ஒரு மாணவராக தான் இருந்தோம். இன்னைக்கு மேலே இருக்கோம். ஐயாவோட கருணைதான் நாங்கள் இங்க ஒரு அறிவை பெற்று இயற்கை வேளாண்மையை செஞ்சுட்டு இருக்கோம். இது மிக எளிமையாக இருக்கலாம். இந்தியா முழுக்க நாம் இந்த முறையை கொண்டு வரது மிக எளிமையாக பொருளாதார சார்ந்த எந்த விஷயம் இல்லை, கருத்திய பரிமாற்றம் தான். அதனால மிக எளிமையா இந்த நடைமுறையை எல்லா மாநிலங்களிலும் நாம் செயல்படுத்த முடியும். சிறு விவசாயிகள் அரசாங்கம் ஐயா அரசாங்கம் நமக்கான தீர்வு நாமே தான் சிறு விவசாயிகள் இந்த செயற்கை வேளாண்மையாலும் இயற்கை வேளாண்மை செய்யக்கூடிய விவசாயிகள், ரசாயன உரங்களை பயன்படுத்தக்கூடிய விவசாயிகள் எல்லாருமே இப்போ எதிர்நோக்குறாங்க அந்த சவால்கள். என்ன சவால்னா பாசன முறைகள், ஏரி பாசன முறைகள்லாம் மிகவும் ரொம்ப மோசமான ஒரு கட்டமைப்பு சிதைந்து கால்வாய்கள் எல்லாம் விவசாயிகள் தனிச்சையா ஈடுபட்டு சரி செய்யக்கூடிய நிலை இங்க ஆட்சி முறையில் ஏற்படக்கூடிய சிக்கல், அரசியல் சார்ந்த சிந்தனை, பொழுதுபோக்கு சார்ந்த சிந்தனை, இதன் அடிப்படையில் கல்வியில ஒரு மாயை. நான் கலெக்டர் ஆகிடலாம், படிக்கிறவங்க எல்லாரும் கலெக்டர் ஆகிடலாம், படிக்கிறவங்க எல்லாரும் டாக்டர் ஆகிடலாம், படிக்கிறவங்க எல்லாரும் இன்ஜினியர் ஆகிடலாம். இந்த அடிப்படை சிந்தனை மக்கள்கிட்ட போய் சேர்ந்ததுனால வேளாண்மை உணவுகளுக்கு வேளாண்மை சார்ந்த பணிகளில் ஈடுபடுவதற்கான எண்ணிக்கை குறைவா இருக்கு. 30 கோடி பேர் இந்த வேளாண்மை சிறப்பாக நடந்திருக்கு. இப்போ 150 கோடி ஏற்பட்ட இந்தியாவில் வேளாண்மை பணியை ஈடுபடுறதுக்கு ஆட்பற்றாக்குறை இருக்குன்னு நாம பேசிக்கிறோம். இதனோட முரண்பாடை நாம கொஞ்சம் சிந்திக்க வேண்டியதா இருக்கு. இந்த அளவுக்கு வந்துருச்சு உள்ளோம், இந்த அளவுக்கு வந்தோம். மிக எளிமையான பணிகளை இன்னைக்கு செய்யறதுக்கு ஆட்பற்றாக்குறை இருக்குன்னு நம்ம சொல்லிக்கிறோம். கலைத்துறையை தவிர்க்கணும்னா கையால் களை எடுத்தே ஆகணும், வேற வழி இல்லை. இன்னும் போனால் ஓடி ஆகும். இதெல்லாம் நீங்க ஆட்கள் செஞ்சுதான் ஆகும். அவங்களுக்கான உணவத்தை உற்பத்தி பண்றதுக்கு அவங்களால அந்த பணியை செஞ்சுதான் ஆகும். அதனால சாத்தியம் தான். திருப்பூர் விவசாயி சந்திக்கிற உள்ளாட்சி அமைப்புகள் கவனம் அந்த வேறு திட்டமைப்புகளை தெரிஞ்சுக்கிறதுக்கான மிக முக்கியமான பொருட்களை வலியுறுத்தோம். நாங்கள் எதிர்பார்க்கிறோம் விவசாயிகள் ஒருங்கிணையாக மாற்றுக்கிறாங்க. நீங்க சாதி கேட்கணும், நம்ம வலிமையான சாதி அமைப்பு முன்னெடுத்தாங்கன்னா நடக்கும். வலிமையான சாதி முன்னெடுத்தாங்கன்னா நடக்காது. நம்ம வீட்டு எடுத்து போயிடுவோம். அதுதான் நான் வீட்டு அதை அமைச்சிருக்கேன். இது மாதிரியான சில விஷயங்கள்லாம் இருக்கு. அது இல்லாம நம்ம இயற்கை வேளாண்மையை ஏன் செய்யணும்னா தூய்மையான காற்று, தூய்மையான குடிநீர், சாய், மண்வளம், இது மூன்றையும் பாதுகாக்கணும். இயற்கை ஆகும். இயற்கை ரசாயன வேளாண்மையாகவே இது மூன்று பெருந்தது மிகப்பெரிய மாற்றம். ரெண்டு நாளா ஒரு எண்ணம் வரும், விதைகள் பாதுகாப்பு, மனிதர்கள் விதைகள் பாதுகாப்பு. விதைகளை பாதுகாக்கிறதுக்காக தாவரங்களுக்கு என்ன முடியும், விதைக்கு என்ன முடியும் ஒரு பேர் இருக்குன்னா இந்த தாவரங்களுக்கு என்ன முடியும். நம்ம உப்பு கவனிக்கிறது பாறைகளுக்கு விதை முடியும். அது தண்ணி எங்கிருந்து எடுக்கிறதே தெரியல. அரசு ஒரு பாறை இந்த தாவரம் எப்படி வேணாலும் அந்த கதவை வச்சு வளர்ச்சி அதுக்கு மனிதர்களுடைய துணையோ விலங்கோட துணையை தேவையில்லை. நம்ம விதைகளை ஏன் பாதுகாக்கணும்னா நம்ம பாதுகாப்பு தான் நாம விதையை பாதுகாக்கணும். விதைகளை பாதுகாக்கணும்னா தாவரங்களுக்கு எந்த நன்மையும் இல்லை. இந்த கருத்தை எல்லாரும் கொண்டு போய் சேருங்க. ரசாயன ஐயா கனிமொழியான ஐயா கட்சியினுடைய முன்னோடி மூத்த விவசாயி கட்சி கனிமொழியான முறையில பேசியிருக்காங்க. அந்த அரிசியை விவசாயத்துக்கு அவங்க என்ன சொல்றாங்கன்னா சர்க்கரை அளவு பயன்படுத்தி உடல் ஆரோக்கியம் சொல்றாங்க. அப்படி பாரம்பரிய விருப்பப்பட்டவங்க நாங்கள் எப்படி செயல்படுறோம் ஒவ்வொரு மாதம் 5ஆம் தேதி அரசு பக்கம் முக்கியமான கூட்டத்தில் கலந்துக்கலாம். அவங்களோட செயல்பாடுகளை நிறுத்திட்டு அதே மாதிரியான ஒரு முறை அவங்க இடத்துல செய்யப்பட்டோம்னா அதுக்கு எந்த விதமான பெருசாக தேவைப்படாது. எல்லாமே விவசாயிகளுடைய விருப்ப நன்கொடை போட்டுக்கணும். எதுக்கும் எந்த கட்டணமும் நம்ம வசூலிக்கணும், யாரையும் எடுக்காமல் கட்டாயப்படுத்தணும். இயற்கை விவசாயத்தை தொடர்தான் விட்டு விலகிறதா
நான் கன்சிடராகவும் எடுத்துக்கணும்னு சொன்னேன். இந்த மாடலை அதாவது
ஒரே ஒரு விஷயம் விவசாயிகள் இந்தியாவில் விவசாயம் இருக்கணும். கர்நாடகா, தமிழ்நாடு அது எல்லாமே இயற்கை விவசாயத்துக்கு முன்னெடுப்பு தான் இந்தியாவோட கிராமங்களில் விவசாயிகள் வருமானம் புரியுது. உதாரணமாக எனக்கு விதை விற்பனை நிறுவனத்தை தடுக்கணும்னா நம்ம மாணவர்கள் கையில் இருக்கணும். ஒவ்வொரு விவசாயியும் ஒரு 30,000 40,000 இருக்கு விதை விற்பனை நிறுவனம். இதற்கான சந்தை வாய்ப்புகளை இப்போ உருவாகிறது. இயற்கை வேளாண்மை பாரம்பரிய கல்வியின் போது சின்ன ஒரு மாவட்டத்தில் இந்த கல்வி இடத்தை ஏற்படுத்தணும். அதே மிகப்பெரிய மாற்றத்தை கொண்டு வரலாம். அதே உங்களுடைய இந்த மாவட்டத்தில் மாற்றத்தை கொண்டு வரும்போது பொருளாதார மாற்றம் ஏற்படுகிறது. என்னுடைய அழைப்பிற்கு நன்றி தெரிவிக்கிறேன்.
எல்லாருக்கும் நம்ம கருத்து we had a really very engaging conversation about a number of points. All of you also heard it. Basically, at the core of what the Convocation team is doing is food politics, it's seed politics. It is a kind of politics which is very honest, which is very true, and which is important for mankind. That is what they were all talking about. It is not just for mankind, it is for the whole world. அதாவது இந்த தாவரங்கள், இந்த பூச்சி எல்லாத்துக்கும் வந்து சேர்ந்தா ஒரு இயற்கை organic farmers are working for the entire world. It is not just for their own plates, not just for their own families. It is for the entire world. And what they are, all of them are saying is that ideologically, they're all aligned, and that is what is bringing them together. There is no monetary gain for all of them to come together the 5th of every month to meet, and they have been having these conversations. And the father of the day one in Karnataka from 2017 அந்த 2017 இந்த 17 அப்புறம் 28 இந்த ஏரிக்கரையோட 20 17. So even population they will be meeting on the 5th of every month by the lakeside, near under a main tree. It's a very simple meeting, and at the end of which everybody is given a lunch. And that is a sum of them. All the people, men, women, all castes, all religions, everybody sits together and eats it. That is what Karnataka sir also, explained a lot about how organic farming can break down the shackles of caste. It can, really bring a change in gender equation of farming. And PTR sir, as he has always said, he spoke about how global events shape something which is in a hyperlocal place. It can affect, the lives of the farmer, and he's talking about how they can be they can be a resistance that can, happen in a small village. He spoke about palm oil and organic cold press oils, and he said how in resisting palm oil, the grounded farmers in that region are now benefiting. And he ended beautifully talking about how seeds are now becoming a source of income, because you are talking so much about seeds, and as Siva sir also spoke, seeds, we're not saving seeds for the seeds' sake, we're saving seeds for our sake, we're saving it for our future, for mankind's future. So thank you, sir, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Your journey is very, very inspiring for the entire agro-ecology movement in the country. Thank you so much for being here. Let me tell you, and it has to be said with a lot of pride, that their group, as part of registration, brought organic paddy grain to the SAMMELAN, and they registered themselves. That is the self-reliance. When you are farmers and organic producers yourself, you are telling the world that for organizing and participating in events like this, you don't have to wait for money. They can do so by their produce. Thank you so much for the work that you are doing. May I request Usha Sundapani, who's ASHA Steering Committee member, who's also been associated with Seva Rice Campaign, and Anand, to please take over for the next session on protecting our seeds of the meeting. And before that, I'd like to thank Aparna for the homework that you do, for the meticulous understanding of the issue before you describe it further. Thank you so much for that. Isha, please.
good afternoon, everybody. Hope everybody is energized by this talk by the KISAN farmers. Inspired and really inspired by hearing the story. And this session is going to be on seed sovereignty. In the morning session, many speakers are talking about seed sovereignty and also the importance of seed and what is happening to seeds of this country. And we were listening to the politics of seed and food in the from the farmers. Actually, seed is, I think, the most important input in farming. We all know that. But more than an input, it is emotionally, it's an emotional connect. It is an actual connect between different generations. We don't know who all have touched our seeds, our forefathers, mothers, grandmothers. They would have sowed and cultivated, harvested, and tasted, and then innovated various mixes of food for the next generation to come. But that quality of seed, I think we have lost in the last 50 years of literature, that connect. Because now farmers are not saving seeds. Because the government, initially it was the government, now the private companies are providing the seed and they are making money also. So that is what the problem is. Currently, when we talk about organic farming, natural farming, agroecology, unless we have the seeds in our hands, it is very, very difficult to move forward. So that is the main issue. And many farmers, organic farmers have started to conserve seeds. They have developed the seeds. They are sharing seeds. They are even selling seeds. They are kind of creating a momentum for the agroecology movement. But on the other side, what the government is doing, the state government, the national government as well as the international bodies, now they are trying to bring more rules for seed conservation. In a sense to stop seed conservation work. In the entire world, not just here, everywhere. Through policy changes. Small things which we don't know. Because the discussions happening in Europe, discussions happening Delhi, maybe in the state capital of many states. But then as farmers, we are mostly unaware. That is where ASHA and many other collectives are not trying to tell the farmers that this is what is going to happen if we stop, if we are ignorant about these policies also. So it is actually two sides. One is the conservation part and otherwise to address the policy. So two things we have to address in the session on seed sovereignty. But then here we will be focusing more on the conservation, development and what is happening on the ground. Why? Because many organizations are now, we are engaging with the seed bill. Most of you know what is happening in the last I think the 25 last November, December months we were discussing a lot. In every state we were discussing about seed bills. Because the seed bill, the first seed act came in 1966 in India when the first hybrid variety was released. Later in the 80s there was another change happened to the seed and another seed bill came in and that actually encouraged the private industry. And it is an industry. It is not a livelihood. It's an industry where the producers are making profit. And without any regulation, much regulation, and they are actually growing. We know that most of the vegetable seeds we are cultivating, even the organic farmers cultivating are the hybrid ones, unfortunately. So in that situation, now many farmers are also struggling because of the seed failure, and we know that there are many stories from Andhra Pradesh, many stories from Telangana, Maharashtra, where modern farmers are suiciding or they are losing because of the bad quality, but there is no mechanism to address that. So, but now the government is saying they are going to bring that, the quality change for that they will address it. And they have brought this simply in 2004, then we all had a big fight. Again now they came up with the new versions. And in 2025 also they have come up with a new version saying that it is going to pay farmers, protect farmers. But when we look at the seed bill, we know that again it is going to help the seed industry by saying the word, ease of doing business. So that is where the concern is. And another thing is the PPDFR. Morning people were talking about it, that is where the farmers' varieties can be registered now. Then people are registering. But then last year they have also brought out some amendments without actually discussing with the farmers or the civil society who is working with the farmers. They actually invited only industry people. So you know what is going to happen. This is also true. This is to cater to the global change which is happening on seeds, because everybody now, because we now understand, as we say, we understand the importance of seeds, this is understood by the industry also now. Globally now, they want to have a monopoly on seeds, and they last 20 years, they are actually now kind of asking every country to share their seeds, the knowledge. Now, we have collected a lot of seeds in this country, and it is with the government is sending their system, and many industries all over the world. They tell that everybody can access, but the many industries want to get access to those seeds, and they want to develop and then make money, and they tell that they will give back. But then there is no transparency, there is nothing, because it is completely a different world where farmers are unaware of these things. But then, because of a lot of engagement last year by the civil society, and even we could push the India government also when they are discussing this international negotiation happening, we could at least stop that for 2 years at least. So we have 2 years to resist or build the resistance to oppose that, because we want the right of the farmers with our farmers as well as with our country. We don't want to leave it to the interest of the corporates, seed companies. And another thing is, we are talking about agroecology, that where, and we are also facing climate change and many other issues, and we realize that it is this seed, each seed, there's an answer to our problems. And that is where I think the focus of today's discussion, we have 4 speakers here, all are well versed with the seed work, conservation to market. And they will be presenting, they will be PPTs, or will be presenting whatever they are doing with the government and without the government, the civil society movement, what is happening. So I invite all the 4 speakers. Ilyas KP from Kerala. Ilyas is the President of Organic Farming Association of India. He's an organic farmer by himself, and he's also now actually building a movement, a collective in Shoto where he is based. This is called Agawai. They are answering more than 100 varieties of paddy, and he is also a kind of building expertise to help farmers to build the traditional way of Kerala farming is homestead farming. This is biodiverse farming, and he is building that movement also in Kerala. And I invite Ilyas for this session. And Dr. Prasaranga, he is another scientist. He's working both sides. He's working with the scientific community. He himself is a scientist, and he's also working with the farmers, especially RRI network and Boston. He's the chair of the seed system of the RRI network, and he's helping farmers a lot to build the traditional seed system in their own villages. Wherever basically based on agroecology. And I was listening in the previous panel session. I think he's one of the most sought after scientists in the country. All the farmers, I think all the farmers should listen to him in the panel sessions and ask questions, because he will be able to give most of the answers to your problems in the seed sector. I'm very happy to invite Dr. Prasaranga and Dr. Prasaranga. The seed man of India, we call him seed man of India. It is known in Kannada and all over South India. He is the founder of Sahaja Samrita, and also a Asian seed company. And he will talk about, he will show all the beautiful pictures of the seeds. Many of you have seen that already, but then I think he has done the magic of bringing beauty into the conservation work, seed conservation work. Also the food festivals. He is the man of food festival, seed festival, and it is very, very inspiring to listen to him. And Anjaneya, he is another person, very, very inspiring farmer from Davangere. He is an organic farmer since 2005, and he has built really a farmer-based seed system. He is a farmer and seed developer. He is also a director of one of the most developing FPO in Davangere, and welcome Anjaneya. So I will first invite Ilyas to talk on the seed movement in Kerala.
Thank you for inviting for this session, especially ASHA. So last 1 year we are working together, and we also know that in 2002 when GAC approved GM cotton, and after that we battle started. So all these organizations, NGOs, civil societies, ASHA and OPI, all this we are came together for this battle. And 2000, after 2000, actually we started to not only protecting, also started to conserve, to serve, and all this our field, diversity. Can you go next? Next. So we all know that we had around 110,000 variety of rice. Only rice, all other varieties are there, tubers, vegetables, fruits, and animals, all of that. But before the Great Revolution, we had around 110,000 variety of rice. This is according to Dr. W. And we have these different varieties, which have some are like rice, some are short, and some are tall, and some are short duration, some are long duration. Some varieties are upland varieties, some are drought tolerant, some are saline tolerant, some submerged under the water long time. So these all unique properties are in all these varieties have. And some varieties we use for, especially rice we use for different purposes. Some use for the everyday rice purpose, and some use for idli, some use for payasam, some use for medicinal properties. All these varieties in each and every crop, we have different diversity of crops. Yes.
Who is changing? Who is changing the?
So this is you can see the color and diversity. We are also concerned around 100 rice varieties. Some are aromatic, like Nandeshala, Digashhala, that is the main central variety. Some varieties are some is very good for that. It is good for that candy rice too. So all these varieties, and when you grow itself, you can see the diversity of color of the seed, diversity of the attraction of the seed. Yes. In 2004, the second UN Rice International Rice Year, there I think the Save Rice campaign also started. In 2004 in Kumbalani, it's a small village in Ernakulam district. Led this had a meeting with other civil society like PH and other organizations. There we started this rice campaign, Save Rice campaign. I think after that only the Save Rice campaign, the started conserving, not only conserving, there are a lot of elements there. Conserving rice ecosystem, sustaining rice culture and diversity, and protecting the ecosystem and preventing beyond. All this is the main objective of starting the rice campaign. And with the rice campaign, I think 5 states started. Actually, it started from Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, and Bengal and Odisha. Save Rice campaign. I became part of it 2009 actually. And with the rice campaign, we have a field service network in different states. In Kerala, we started in 2007 in Wayanad, field service network in Wayanad. With that field service network, started to conserving seeds, like KPA mentioned in the earlier session. We documented the seeds. When we had a meeting with the farmers, local farmers, and then farmers started talking about the rice varieties name. And they have started remembering the name, and we have documented that varieties, and we started to search the varieties, is it available or not available. And then we collected seeds, and then we started preserving. The first biodiversity rice water, I think it is Ksou Campus. Ksou Campus is you know all the now you got partnership. Around 36 varieties started with that. And Tamil supported that biodiversity, the rice conservation water. And then after a long time, there used to have a lot of meetings and functions all there. In 2012, we had a seed caravan. We organized the seed caravan. This idea came from Usiteti channel because we used to know about that video doing seed caravan very nicely in Andhra. Then this idea we did a seed caravan. First we thought about only two regions, two districts. But when I was become the part of the active and Malapolai, I was become the secretary. Then that time we thought not only two, we have to have other states, other districts also. So we did in 6 districts. A seed caravan with a lot of organizations supported with the local self-help societies and organizations from Kasaragod district to Mysuru. Around 6 districts we covered, and then with the seed caravan we have exhibited these all seed varieties, tubers, rice, vegetable, all these seed varieties we exhibited, and we got to welcome each and every district. We have a welcome program there. And in this all welcoming program, we had a discussion about seeds and awareness building program with seeds and cultural activities. You can see the variety of location. And when we were doing this caravans, we talking about the awareness of seeds. That time also people started giving seeds as a contribution. In each and every program, farmers used to come with their seeds. Whatever they have, especially rice seeds, they will give. They used to give us the seeds in each and every program. And that time, recently only the panel bought a land in Wayanad with the support of other colleagues. And there they started this ecology center, that is Tunnel Signal Agri Ecology Center. So we were conserved around in Kerala around 160 varieties there, and with the other states. Total 300 more varieties conserved with agroecology and with Signal. And you all know about Double Dale is a rice man, and he used to, we know that he is conserved around more than 1,400 varieties. We used to give that training program, especially characterization study. With OFI, we did 2015 rice characterization study. And actually, Double used to tell that even though you are conserving 100 seeds or 200 seeds, I cannot tell that this is conserving. That is just preserving the thing. If you want to conserve properly, you have to maintain the genetic purity. So that's why we also understood the importance, and he started giving this training program. It is a 3-phase training program, and this 3 phase around 50 characters. Each and every stage, around 50 characters we have documented. And that documentation we do in the field. So the Double has a very small even though it is very tiny, but for the farmer to understand all these material, whatever that using tools are very small and easy material tools. That's we farmers could use that. Then he made the rice characterization paper that we translated to Malayalam and Marathi. So Malayalam you can see here. So then all these characters, small and very characters we could understand very easily. And we did in local regional characterization workshops also in different regions, in Kerala. And Maharashtra also, Sati Patil kind of farmers they are also following. And recently last year also with the SAMMELAN farmers we did this rice characterization. It is very important because even though you are conserving 100 or 1,000 varieties, it's very important to maintain the genetic purity to understand the variety you are conserving the actual variety or not. Are they changing or not? Because every year the climate is changing, the land is changing, lot of issues are coming. But if you maintain this genetic documentation or this characterization, you can understand that every year when you change any character is changing or not, you can understand easily. That's why we are doing this conservation, this documentation. That's very important for us. And we did all this organization involved, like in first of all, you have seen Kozhikode district, there was an organization called Paithuram. Paithuram also doing conservation around 100 varieties, and they are now selling the rice varieties also. And after you all know the team, Tirunelveli and the producer company in Wayanad, they are also conserving a lot of varieties, and also they are also organized this rice characteristic study there. And Payanur Nalabhumi, also they are also more than 100 varieties, traditional Kerala varieties they are conserving. They also organize this characterization study workshop there. Mysuru Pathshala, one of the group of our civil society, they are also organized program are still conserving traditional varieties. And Natubalaya and Patani, Palakkad. And Celebrity Foundation Galandu, they are also conserving modern and varieties. So these are all important. We deal with the civil society organization. They are all involved with conservation, and also they are understanding the visibility, for the maintaining the visibility. They were taking all this, documenting all these varieties important. So after 10 years of work, I think that rice demand has increased, especially that rice. Now, when I talk, we tell you a little. Yes. This is seed festival. Selected I think after 2012, 2013, they started seed festival in different regions. The selected alliance Kerala is a non-Indian farmers organization in Wayanad, Kannur, Kasaragod, and Kozhikode. There are a lot of farmers involved. Every year they do seed festival in different regions. In the seed festival, they will explain all these varieties. So they are up to them in the seed. So I think after 10 years of this, all the activities, the demand has increased. Now FKK organic outlet, organic elements community are told to us around 120 metric ton traditional rice variety selling every year in Kerala. And Raktashali, I think Jayakrishan, Samadharu from Kozhikode is selling 5 ton Raktashali selling every year he needs to 5 ton. And here Balakrishnan of his corporate unit 1 entrepreneur. So he also selling around 1 ton Raktashali and 16 varieties of rice. And biobasics from Coimbatore, not only from Kerala varieties, around 36 varieties. Mostly comes from our Kerala and Wayanad and other regions. So 36 varieties and around 200 metric ton traditional rice is selling now in Kerala. So approximate is not very particular. So now we have having challenges. After that, all this, the one is the quality of rice is increasing. When you sell the rice, actually instead of some other varieties coming, black rice with white rice, and standard variety without any standard variety. All these mixed is coming as one challenge. And quality of seeds, and genetic purity, and authenticity, and real source. Where will get the seeds? The real. And availability. All these challenges are we are facing. So that's why we thought about that this organized or the new group to make to find the challenges. We had a discussion with the different organizations. Next. And that's why there is a formation of ASHA in our mind. The people, farmers, and groups who are conserving the traditional varieties, we all get together and to overcome the challenges. So these all organizations of Devakasha Sandhi, all these organizations, Prasaranga, Trust, Samadha, all these organizations, all the everybody, we are invited in the last 2 years we are doing, and we are having meetings, and then we are finding the solution of all these challenges. So conservation, protection, documentation, networking, awareness, knowledge transfer. We are organizing program for payments and sharing. That's it. Thank you.
Really happy to see the different technology. And also the most important thing is that Kerala as a state we produce only 10% of what we want. Because people are poor away from the food production for a very long time. This will not happen to other states. It's a hard work to provide this much seeds as well as farming assets, livelihood or even farming assets, they apply in Kerala. But youngsters like India is leading that in Kerala now, and we are really hopeful. Thank you. Next is we invite Anjaneya to give his experience.
ಮೆಲ್ಲಗೆ ಕರಗುತ್ತಿದೆ ಆಹಾರ. ಎಲ್ಲಿದೆ ಆಹಾರ, ಎಲ್ಲಿದೆ ಗುಳಿಗೆ, ಎಲ್ಲಿದೆ ಅನ್ನ, ಎಲ್ಲಿದೆ ಆರೋಗ್ಯ, ಎಲ್ಲಿದೆ ಗುಳಿಗೆ. ಈಗ ನಾವು ಕಳೆದ 20 ವರ್ಷಗಳಿಂದ ಸತವೃತ್ತಿ ಆಂದೋಲನವನ್ನು ಭಾರತದಲ್ಲಿ ಓದ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಕಳೆದ 10 ವರ್ಷಗಳ ಕೆಳಗೆ ಭತ್ತ ಸಂರಕ್ಷಣೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು 50-60 ಜನ ಬೀಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಈಗ ಮತ್ತೆ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಇದೊಂದೇ ಕಾರಣದಿಂದ ಕೊನೆಗೆ ವಿನ್ಯಾಸ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ಒಂದೊಂದೇ ಯಾಕೆ ನಮಗೆ ಒಂದು ಯಾಕೆ ಕೆಲವು ಸಂಘಟನೆಗಳ ನಮ್ಮ ಒಂದು ಕೃಷಿ ಪದ್ಧತಿಯನ್ನು ಒಂದು PPT ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತೀವಿ. ನನ್ನ ಹೆಸರು ಆಂಜನೇಯ ಅಂತ, ಹರಿಹರ ತಾಲೂಕಿನವರು. ಕಳೆದ 24 ವರ್ಷಗಳಿಂದ ಸಾವಯವ ಕೃಷಿ ಮತ್ತು ಕೃಷಿ ಹೋಗಿರೋ ಭಾರತೀಯ ಪದಾರ್ಥಗಳು ಬೆಳೀತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಬೆಳೆಯೋದು ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಬೀಜ ಕೊಡುವುದು ಮತ್ತೆ ಅಕ್ಕಿಯ ಮಾರುಕಟ್ಟೆ ಮಾಡುವುದು ಇದು ನನ್ನ ಒಂದು ಕರ್ತವ್ಯ. ಆದರೆ ನಾವು ಏನು ತಿಂತೀವಲ್ಲ ಅದೇ ಬೆಳೆಯುವಾಗ ನಮ್ಮ ಒಂದು ಉದ್ದೇಶ ಏನೆಂದರೆ ಈ ಒಂದು ನಮ್ಮ ಬೆಳೆಯುವಂಥ ಜಾಗ ಸಂಪೂರ್ಣ ನೀರಾವರಿ ಮಾಡ ಭತ್ತ ಬೆಳೆಯುವ ಜಾಗ ಬಿಟ್ಟರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಏನು ಬೆಳೆಯಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅವಕಾಶ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ನಾನು ಭತ್ತದ ಬೆಳೆಯನ್ನೇ ಆಯ್ಕೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ರಾಸಾಯನಿಕ ಕೃಷಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಹೈಬ್ರಿಡ್ ಯುಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ರೈತರು ತಮ್ಮ ಕಲ್ಟಿವೇಶನ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. ಆರೋಗ್ಯದ ಪರಿಣಾಮ, ಪ್ರಕೃತಿಯ ವೈಫಲ್ಯತೆ, ಮಳೆಯ ಅಭಾವ, ಮಳೆ ಸುರಿಸುವುದು ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ವ್ಯತ್ಯಾಸಗಳು ನಮ್ಮ ಭಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಣ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು. ಒಂದ್ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಅರೆಮಣ್ಣ, ಒಂದ್ ಕಡೆಗೆ ನೀರಾವರಿ, ಭದ್ರಾ ನೀರು. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ನಮ್ಮ ನೆಲ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಮತ್ತೆ ಬೀಜ ಈ ಒಂದು ಉದ್ದೇಶ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ನಾವು ಸಂರಕ್ಷಣೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಅದೇ ಸಮಯಕ್ಕೆ ಸಹಾಯ ಸಂಬಂಧ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆ ಈ ಒಂದು ಬೀಜ ಸಂರಕ್ಷಣೆಗೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಸುಮಾರು ಸಹಕಾರಗಳು ಇತ್ತು. ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಭತ್ತ ಉಳಿಸಿ ಆಂದೋಲನ ಒಂದು ಸಂಸ್ಥೆ ದಕ್ಷಿಣ ಭಾರತದಲ್ಲಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ತನ್ನಾರು ಇದರ ತಾಯಿ ಸಮೃದ್ಧ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆ ಸುಮಾರು ಒಂದು ಸಂಸ್ಥೆ ಶುರು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿದ್ದಂಥ ಬೆಳೆಗಳಿಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಇದ್ದಂಥ ಭತ್ತದ ಬೀಜಗಳು ಈಗ 250ಕ್ಕೂ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಭತ್ತದ ಬೆಳೆಗಳು ಈಗ ನಮ್ಮ ಭತ್ತದ ಗದ್ದೆಯಲ್ಲಿ. ಭತ್ತದ ಗದ್ದೆಗಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆ ನಮಗೆ ಬೇಕಾಗಿರೋದು ನಮ್ಮ ನೆಲ ಉಳಿಸೋದು. ನಾವು ನೆಲ ಉಳಿದು ಮಾತ್ರ ನಾವು ಏನನ್ನು ಬೆಳೀಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅವಕಾಶ. ಒಂದು ರೀತಿ ನೆಲ ನಮಗೆ ಒಂದು ನಮ್ಮ ಕೈಯಿಂದ ಎಷ್ಟು ಸಾಧ್ಯತೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಷ್ಟು ಒಂದು ಗೋಪುರ ಕಾಂಪೋಸ್ಟ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಜೀವಾಮೃತ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಗೊಬ್ಬರ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ರಾಸಾಯನಿಕ ಗೊಬ್ಬರ ವಿಷಯ ನಮಗೆ ಇಳುವರಿಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಇವಾಗ ಕಂಪನಿ ಬೀಜ, ಕಂಪನಿ ಗೊಬ್ಬರ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಮತ್ತೆ ಕಂಪನಿಗಳು ದಾಸರಾಗಿಬಿಟ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಸ್ವತಂತ್ರರಾಗದೆ ಇವಾಗ ಮತ್ತೆ ನಾವು ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಕಡೆಯಲ್ಲೇ ನಾವು ತೆಗೆಬಿಡ್ತೇವೆ. ಒಂದು ಕಡೆಗೆ ದೇಶನೇ ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಟ್ ಕಂಪನಿಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ತೆಗೆಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ. ಆ ಕಂಪನಿ ಬೀಜ ಕೊಟ್ಟರೆ, ಆ ಕಂಪನಿ ಔಷಧಿ ಗೊಬ್ಬರ ಕೊಟ್ಟರೆ ಇಡೀ ದೇಶ, ಇಡೀ ಪ್ರಪಂಚ ಉಳಿಯುವಂತ ಸಾಧ್ಯತೆ ಇದೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ದೇಶ ನಮ್ಮ ಬೀಜ, ನಮ್ಮ ಹಕ್ಕು, ನಮ್ಮ ಭೂಮಿ, ನಮ್ಮ ನೀರು, ಜೀವ ಮಾತ್ರ ನಾವು ಉಳಿಯಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅವಕಾಶ ಇದೆ. ಇದು ನಮ್ಮ ಬೀಜದ ಒಂದು ಸಾಕು. ಯಾಕೆ ನಾವು ಇಷ್ಟೊಂದು ವೆರೈಟಿಗಳೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅವಕಾಶ ಆಯ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಬೆರಳಿಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಬೀಜ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರು 30 ಮಂದಿ 40 ಮಂದಿ ತದನಂತರ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ 250 ಭತ್ತದ ತಳಿಗಳು 250 ಭತ್ತದ ತಳಿಗಳು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಮಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಆ ಕಡೆಗೂ ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಸಂರಕ್ಷಣೆ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಉದ್ದೇಶ. ನಾವು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾರುಕಟ್ಟೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ನಮಗೆ ಅಧಿಕ ಅವೆಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಡೋದೇ ಉತ್ತಮ ಇಳುವರಿ ಬರುವಂಥದ್ದು, ಜನಗಳಿಗೆ ಆರೋಗ್ಯ ದೃಷ್ಟಿಯಿಂದ ಬರುವಂಥದ್ದು. ಆಮೇಲೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಭೂಮಿ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ನಮ್ಮ ಭಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಉತ್ಕೃಷ್ಟತೆಯಿಂದ ಬಂದು ಯಾವುದೇ ರೋಗ ಬರದಂತ ತಳಿಗಳನ್ನ ನಾವು ಆಯ್ಕೆ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು 15-20 ತಳಿಗಳು ನಮ್ಮ ಜಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಬೆಳೀತವೆ. ಅದನ್ನೇ ನಾವು ಪ್ರತಿ ವರ್ಷ ಒಂದು 40ರಿಂದ 50 ಕ್ವಿಂಟಲ್ ಸಣ್ಣ ಭಾಗದಿಂದ ಭತ್ತದ ಬೀಜ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಇವು ನಮ್ಮ ಭೂಮಿ ಸಿದ್ಧತೆಗಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆ ಮುಂಗಾರು ಹಂಗಾಮಿನಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಏನ್ ಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ, ಮಳೆ ಬೀಳ್ತದೆ, ಗುಡುಗು ಸಿಕ್ಕಿ ಆಗ್ತದೆ, ಸುಮಾರು ಭತ್ತದ ಗದ್ದೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಹಸಿರೆಲೆ ಗೊಬ್ಬರಗಳು ಇವತ್ತು ನೋಡ್ರಿ, ಈಗ ಹಸಿರೆಲೆ ಗೊಬ್ಬರಗಳು ನಮ್ಮ ಭಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಂಡವಾಡಿದ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನಪ್ಪ ಹಸಿರೆಲೆ ಗೊಬ್ಬರ ಬೀಜ ಹಾಕೊಂಡ್ರು ತುಂಬಾ ರೈತರಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಬೀಜಗಳ ಲಭ್ಯತೆ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಮುಂಚೆ ನಾವು ಹಾಕುವಾಗ 25 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಕೆಜಿ ಇದ್ದಂತ ಹಸರು, ಕಾಣಲು, ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್, ಚಿಲ್ಲಕಸರು, ವೆರೈಟೀಸ್ ಈ ತರದ ಕಾಳುಗಳೆಲ್ಲ ಇವತ್ತು 200 ಬೆಳೆದಾಗಿದೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಇವತ್ತು ಹಸಿರೆಲೆ ಗೊಬ್ಬರ ಹಾಕಂತಾರೆ ಯಾರಪ್ಪ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ತೋಟಗಾರಿಕೆ ಬೆಳೆ ಅಂದ್ರು ದೊಡ್ಡ ಆಹಾರ ಬೆಳೆ ಅಂತ ರೈತರು ಅಲ್ಲ, ಅಡಿಕೆ ಬೆಳೆ ಅಂತ ರೈತರು ಮಾತ್ರ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಆದ್ಯತೆ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ನಾವು ಸಾವಯವ ಎಲ್ಲ ನಾವು ಯಾಕೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀವಿ, ನಾವು ಅಡಿಕೆ ಬೆಳೆ ಅಂತ ತೋಟಗಳು ಮಾಡೋದು ಹೊರತು ತಿನ್ನುವ ಅನ್ನಕ್ಕೆಲ್ಲ ನಾವು ವಿಷ ಹಾಕಿ ಬೆಳೆದಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಇದು ನಮ್ಮ ಭತ್ತದ ತಳಿಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕ್ಯಾಂಪಸ್ಗಳು ಏನಪ್ಪ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾರಿಕೇಳ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ರಾಮಕಲಿ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಚಿಕ್ಕಿನಿಕಾಯಿ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಮಧುಕಾಲ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಹಿಂದೂರ ಮಧುಕಾಲ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಬೇರೆ 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 ರೈತರು ನಮ್ಮ ಭತ್ತದ ಅದರಲ್ಲೂ ಮುಂಗಾರ ನಮ್ಮ ಹಂಗಾಮಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಸುಮಾರು 205 ಕಡೆ ಬೆಳಿತೀವಿ. ಅದೇ ಮಳೆಗಾಲ ಬೆಳೆಯಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು 25-30. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ತಳಿಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಬಹಳ ಸೂಕ್ಷ್ಮತೆಗಳು ಇರ್ತವೆ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲವೂ ಬೇರೆ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಏನು ಅಂತಲ್ಲ. ಇವನ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಅಕ್ಟೋಬರ್, ನವೆಂಬರ್, ಡಿಸೆಂಬರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತ್ರ ಪರಾಗಸ್ಪರ್ಶವಾಗಿ ಬೆಳೆಯುವಂತ ತಳಿಗಳು ಈ ಒಂದು ನಮ್ಮ ಜಿಲ್ಲೆಯಲ್ಲ, ನಮ್ಮ ಭಾರತದಾದ್ಯಂತ ಪ್ರಪಂಚದ ಎಲ್ಲ ಜೀವ ವೈವಿಧ್ಯ ಕೇಂದ್ರ ಇರೋದು ನಮ್ಮ ಭಾರತದಲ್ಲೇ. ಅಂತ ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಶಿ ತಳಿಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಅಷ್ಟು ಸೂಕ್ಷ್ಮತೆಗಳು, ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಚಳಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಬೆಳೆಯಬೇಕು, ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಮಳೆಗೆ ಬೆಳೆಯಬೇಕು, ಎಲ್ಲ ಇದು ಬಿದ್ದು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬರದಂತ ತಳಿಗಳು ಸುಮಾರು ಬೆಳೆದವೆ. ಇವು ನಮ್ಮ ಭತ್ತದ ಗದ್ದೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ರೋಗ ಮತ್ತು ಕೀಟ ಇದು ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಈ ನದ್ರಾಬಾದ್ ಭತ್ತ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಡಾಂಬರ್ಕಾಳು ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಭತ್ತಗಳು ನಮ್ಮ ಭತ್ತದ ಗದ್ದೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇವು ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಭತ್ತದ ಗದ್ದೆಯಲ್ಲೇ ಆಟಗಳು ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಅನ್ನೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಇದೊಂದು ಉದಾಹರಣೆ. 2010-11ರಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ತಾಯಿಯ ಸಹಕಾರದಿಂದ ನಮ್ಮ ಭತ್ತದ ಗದ್ದೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ದೇಶದ ಜಪಾನ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಸಹಯೋಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. ದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಪ್ರಥಮವಾಗಿ ಭತ್ತದ ಒಲಿಯಷ್ಟೇ ಆಟವನ್ನು ನಮ್ಮ ಭತ್ತದ ಗದ್ದೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಇದು ನಮ್ಮ ಕೇಂದ್ರ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಸ್ವಚ್ಛ ಭಾರತ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ಸ್ವಚ್ಛ ಭಾರತ್ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಅಲ್ಲ, ನಾವು ಒಂದು ಹೇಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಮತ್ತೆ ಭತ್ತದ ಗದ್ದೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ನಮಗೆ ಇದು ನಮ್ಮ ಸೀಡ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಮೀಟಿಂಗ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ನಮ್ಮ ಜಿಲ್ಲೆಯ ಜಂಟಿ ಕೃಷಿ ನಿರ್ದೇಶಕರು ಅವರು ತುಂಬಾ ಸಹಕಾರ ನೀಡಿದ್ರು. ಮತ್ತೆ ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ಸಹಕಾರ ನೀಡಿದ್ರು. ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಮತ್ತೆ ನಾವು ನಮ್ಮ ಸಣ್ಣ ಮೊದಲ ಕೃಷಿಕರ ಭಾಗದ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ರೈತರಿಗೂ ಸಹಕಾರ ತುಂಬಾ ಬಹಳ ಮುಖ್ಯವಾಗಿತ್ತು. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಆ ರೈತರಿಗೂ ನಮಗೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಸಹಕಾರ ಆಗಿ ಈ ಮಟ್ಟಕ್ಕೆ ಬರಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಕಾರಣ ಆಯಿತು. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಈಗ ಬೀಜ ಮೇಳಗಳು, ಸಿರಿಧಾನ್ಯ ಮೇಳಗಳು ಇವತ್ತು ಸಾಗಿದ ಯಾವುದೇ ಸರ್ಕಾರದ ಅನುದಾನ ಇಲ್ಲದೊಳಗೆ ಇವತ್ತು 40-50 ಕ್ವಿಂಟಲ್ ಭತ್ತದ ಬೀಜಗಳು, 20 ಕ್ವಿಂಟಲ್ ಸಿರಿಧಾನ್ಯ ಬೀಜಗಳು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಇವೆಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಮ ಯೂನಿವರ್ಸಿಟಿ ಟ್ರೈನಿಂಗು, ಇವೆಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಮ ಶಾಲಾ ಮಧ್ಯಾಹ್ನ ಈಗ ನಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರವಾಳ ಕೃಷಿ ವಿಜ್ಞಾನ ಕೇಂದ್ರದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ನೋಡ್ರಿ, ನಿಮಗೆ ಒಂದೇ ಒಂದು ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಉದಾಹರಣೆ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ವಾಟ್ಸಾಪ್, ಫೇಸ್ಬುಕ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಮ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾರಾಟ ಇದೆ, ಇದೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಮಾರಾಟ ಇಲ್ಲ. ನಾನು ಇದುವರೆಗೂ ಒಂದು ಫೇಸ್ಬುಕ್, ವಾಟ್ಸಾಪ್ ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಚಾರ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ. ಶನಿವಾರದ ಸಾವಯವ ಸಂತೆ ಅಂತ ನಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರವಾಳ ಕೃಷಿ ವಿಜ್ಞಾನ ಕೇಂದ್ರದಲ್ಲಿ ಸಾವಯವ ಸಂತೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ ಕಳೆದ 14 ವರ್ಷಗಳಿಂದ. ಇವತ್ತು ಸಣ್ಣ ರೋಡ್ ಬರ್ತದೆ, ತಿನ್ನಕ್ಕೆ ಜಾಗ ಇರಲ್ಲ. ಅಂತ ಜಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಬರೀ ಅಡಿಗೆ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಜಾಗ ಇರ್ತೈತಿ, ಹೊರಗೆ 100 ಜನ ನಿಂತು ತಿಂತಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಅಷ್ಟು ಡಿಮ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಆ ಒಂದು ಗ್ರಾಹಕ ಕಸ್ಟಮರ್ಗಳು ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಕೊಡುವಂತ ಆಹಾರ ಗುಣಮಟ್ಟ ಇತ್ತು, ಇವೆಲ್ಲ ಟೇಸ್ಟ್ ಇತ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆ ಹೋಟೆಲ್ ಜಾಗ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ. ಹಾಗೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಶನಿವಾರ ಸಾವಯವ ಸಂತೆ ಶುರು ಮಾಡಿದರೆ ಇವತ್ತು ನಮಗೆ ಒಂದು 100-150 ಎಕರೆಗೆ ಅಕ್ಕಿಗೆ ಅಷ್ಟು ಡಿಮ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಇದೆ. ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಪ್ರಚಾರ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ, ನೀವು ಬಂದು ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ನಮ್ದು ಯಾವುದು ಪ್ರಚಾರ ಇದ್ದಂಗೆ ಇವತ್ತು ಈ ಮಟ್ಟಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದಿದೆ. ಇದು ನಮ್ಮ ಭತ್ತದ ಮೇಳಗಳು, ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಬೀಜ ಮೇಳಗಳು, ಅಕ್ಕಿ ಮೇಳಗಳು, ಮೇಳಗಳು, ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಗಳು. ಇದು ನಮ್ಮ ಬೀಜ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕಲ್ಲಿ ಈಗ ಒಂದು 350 ಟ್ರೈನ್ಗಳು ಇರೋದು. ಆದ್ರೆ 350 250 ಮಾತ್ರ ನಾವು ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಇದು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಮಾಡಿರೋಂಥ ಒಂದು 5 ವೆರೈಟಿಗಳು ಅವು ತುಂಬಾ ಪ್ರಚಾರ ಆಗ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಇತ್ತೀಚೆಗೆ ಕಳೆದ 5 ಕರೋನಾ ಬರೋಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆ, ಕರೋನಾ ಬಂದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ದೇಶಿ ಭತ್ತದ ತಳಿಗೆ ಮತ್ತು ದೇಶಿ ಆಹಾರ ತಳಿಗಳಿಗೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಡಿಮ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಬಂದಿದೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇವತ್ತು ಏನಾಗಿದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆಹಾರಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಆರೋಗ್ಯ ಬಹಳ ಮುಖ್ಯ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಈಗ ಏನಾಗಿದೆ, ಹೊಟ್ಟೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಹೋಗ್ತಿದೆ, ಅದು ಆರೋಗ್ಯ ಸಿಗ್ತಲ್ಲ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ದೇಶಿ ತಳಿಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ತುಂಬಾ ಒಂದು ರೋಗ ನಿರೋಧಕ ಶಕ್ತಿ, ಗುಣಮಟ್ಟದ ಶಕ್ತಿ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಇದಂತ ಗ್ರಾಹಕರಿಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತು. ಆಗ ಅವರು ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಈಗ ಬೆಳೆಗೆ ಬಹಳ ಜನ ಮುಂದೆ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಡಿಮ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಬಂದಿದೆ. ನಮ್ಮ ಮೌಲ್ಯವರ್ಧನೆ ಮಾಡೋದು, ದೊಡ್ಡ ಹಣಿಕೆ ಮಾಡೋದು, ಅವರಿಗೆ ಮಾಡೋದು, ನಾವು ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಯೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಮಾರಾಟ ಮಾಡೋ ಅಂತ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಇದು ನಮ್ಮ ಶನಿವಾರ ಸಾಯಂಕಾಲ ಬೇರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಮೇಳಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಇದು ನಮ್ಮ ಬಂದಂಥ ಅವಾರ್ಡ್ಗಳು, CPF ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಕ್ರಾಂತಿ ಮಂತ್ರಿ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಸುಮಾರು ಪ್ರಶಸ್ತಿಗಳು, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಕೃಷಿ ಪಂಡಿತ ಪ್ರಶಸ್ತಿಗಳು, ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಅವಾರ್ಡ್ಗಳು. ಇದು ಕಳೆದ ವರ್ಷ ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ರೇಸ್ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ ಮಾಡಿ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಮಟ್ಟದಲ್ಲಿ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಇದುವರೆಗೂ ನಾವು ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ರೇಸ್ ಅನ್ನೋ ಒಂದು ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ ಗೊತ್ತೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಈಗ ಅದು ಸರ್ಕಾರಕ್ಕೆ ಕಣ್ಣಲ್ಲಿ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ನಾವು ಮಾಡೋಂಥ ಕೆಲಸಗಳು ಬಿಟ್ಟುಬಿಟ್ಟು ಕಳೆದ ವರ್ಷ 14 ಜಿಲ್ಲೆಯಿಂದ ಅರಣ್ಯ ಮೈದಾನದಲ್ಲಿ ಭತ್ತದ ಸಂರಕ್ಷಕರು ಯಾರಿದ್ದಾರೆ ನಾವು ಇದು ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ಟು ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ವಸಂತ ಅಂತ ಸರ್ಕಾರಿ ಅವರು ಎಲ್ಲ ಇದು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಕರೆದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ. ಇದು ನಮ್ಮ ಭತ್ತದ ಕುಟುಂಬದ ಈ ನಿರ್ವಹಣೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಈ ಕಟ್ಟಡ ಸ್ಥಳಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಶಾಸ್ತ್ರದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಎಜುಕೇಶನ್ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಈಗ ಇದು ಮಾಡಿರೋದು ಕೊರೋನಾ ಬರೋಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆ 2017-18ರಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಿರೋಂಥ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್. ಅವಾಗ ನಮ್ದು ಕೂಲಿ ಲೇಬರ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲ 200 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಇತ್ತು, ಇವಾಗ 200-250 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಇದೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಅವಾಗ ಒಂದಾಗಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು, ಈಗ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇತಿಹಾಸ ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು ಈಗೆಲ್ಲ ನಮಗೆ ಏನು ತೊಂದರೆ ಆಗ್ತದ ಅಂತ. ಅವಾಗ ಒಂದಿನ ನಾವು JCB ಆರ್ಡರ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಕಟಾವು ಮಾಡಿ ಇದು ಮಾಡಿಕ್ಕೆ 10,000 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಈಗ 20,000 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಆಗ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಅಷ್ಟು ಕಷ್ಟ ಇದೆ. ಇವತ್ತು ನಾವು ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ಕಷ್ಟ ನೋಡು, ಸಾವಯವ ಕೃಷಿ ಇದೆ, ಭೂಮಿ ನಾವು ಕೊಂಡ್ಕೋಬಹುದು ಈಗೆಲ್ಲ ಅಂತದೆ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಆಹಾರನೇ ಸಿಗುತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ನೋದು ನಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಇವತ್ತು ಪ್ರತಿ ಜಿಲ್ಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹೊಸ ಉತ್ಪಾದನೆಗಳು ಜೈವಿಕವಾಗಿ ಒಂದಿಗೆ ಅಡ್ಡಿ ತೋಟಗಳು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಡ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಒಣ ಕೃಷಿ ತೋಟಗಳಿಗೆ ಆಹಾರನೇ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಇವತ್ತು. ಈಗ ಮುಂದಿನ ನಮ್ಮ ಪೀಳಿಗೆಗೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಮುಂದಿನ ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಮರಿಬೇಕಂತ ಈ ಲಾಭ ಶಾಸ್ತ್ರಿ ಅವರ ಪೀಳಿಗೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಯ್ತಲ್ಲ ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ಮರ್ಕಳ್ಬೋದು ಅಂತ ಇದೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕಂಪನಿಗಳ ಪ್ಯಾಕೆಟ್ ಫುಡ್ಗೂ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೈ ಹೊಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು ನನ್ನ ಈಗ ಆಚರ ಇದೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಉದಾಹರಣೆ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತದೆ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಬರದ ಮುಂದೆ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಬೇಡವ ಪರಿಸ್ಥಿತಿಯಲ್ಲ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇದು ನಮ್ಮ ಬೆಳೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ಯಾಂಪಸ್ಗಳು ರಂಗಲ್ಲಿ ಸುಮಾರು ಬೆಳೆಗಳು ನಮ್ಮ ಬೀಜ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಅಭಿವೃದ್ಧಿ ಮಾಡಿರೋಂಥ ತಳಿಗಳು. ನಾವು 5 ವೆರೈಟಿಗಳು ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ. ಈಗ ನೋಡಿ ಇನ್ನು ಆಗಲೇ ಒಂದು ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ರಿಕಗ್ನಿಷನ್ 11 ಸಣ್ಣ ಮತ್ತೆ ಸಿಂಧೂರ ಸಾಹೇಬರು ಬೇರೆ ವೆರೈಟಿಗಳಿಗಿಂತ ಈ 2 ವೆರೈಟಿಗಳು 5 ಇಲ್ಲಿಗೂ ಮತ್ತೆ ಹೆಕ್ಟರ್ಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋಂಥ ಒಂದು ಸಂಪೂರ್ಣ ವಿವರ ಪೀಳಿಗೆ ಆಗಿರೋದು. ಆದರೆ ನಾವು ಈ ಕೃಷಿಗಳಿಂದ ನೀವು ಅಂದನು ಕಣ್ಣನ್ನು ಮಳೆಗಾಲ ಮತ್ತೆ ಬೇಸಿಗೆ ಬರುವಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. ಇದು ನನಗೆ ಉತ್ತಮ ಮೇವು ಮತ್ತು ಹುಟ್ಟಕ್ಕೂ ತುಂಬಾ ರುಚಿ, ಅಷ್ಟು ಡಿಮ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಇದೆ ಈಗ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಇವತ್ತು ಆದ್ರೆ ಏನೇ ಬೆಳೆದಿರೋದು ರೈತರು ಬಂದಾಗ ತಮ್ಮ ಮನೆ ಹುಟ್ಟಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಮಾತ್ರ ಬೆಳೀತಾರೆ. ಸಮಸ್ಯೆ ಒಳಗೆ ದೇಶಿ ಪದವು ಬೆಳೆದು ನಾವು ಪ್ರೀತಿ ಒಳಗೆ ಇನ್ನು ಬರ್ತಾರೆ. ಇದು ಫೈನ್ ರೈಟ್ ಇದು ರೈತರಿಗೆ ಆರಾಮ ಕೊಡುತ್ತೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇದು ಉತ್ತಮವಾದ ಗ್ರಾಹಕರು ಬೇಡಿಕೆ ಇರುವ ಸಿಂಧೂರ ಇವತ್ತು ನೋಡಿ ನಮ್ಮ ರಾಜ್ಯ ಅಲ್ಲ ಬೇರೆ ರಾಜ್ಯಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ತುಂಬಾ ಡಿಮ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಇದೆ. ಲಾಂಗ್ ರೆಡ್ ರೈಸ್ ಇದು ಇವತ್ತು ಶುಗರ್ ಪೇಷಂಟ್ಗಳು ಜೊತೆಗೆ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇವತ್ತು ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಬ್ಬರು ನಾವು ಭೌಗೋಳಿಕ ಆಧಾರದ ಮೇಲೆ ನಾವು ಆಹಾರ ನಿರ್ಧಾರ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಈಗ ಮಲೆನಾಡು ಮತ್ತೆ ಕರಾವಳಿ ಜನಗಳೆಲ್ಲ ಈಗ ಸಿರಿಧಾನ್ಯ ಊಟ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರ, ಜೋಳನ ಊಟ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರ, ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಕ್ಕಿನೇ ಊಟ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರು. ಹಂಗಾಗಿ ಆ ಭಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಊಟ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರು ಆ ದೇಶಿ ತಳಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಮಹತ್ವ ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕೆ ಹೊರತು ನಾವು ಎಲ್ಲಿದೋ ಸಿರಿಧಾನ್ಯ ಎಲ್ಲದೋ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರೆ ಯಾವ್ದನ್ನ ನಾವು ತಿನ್ನೋಲ್ಲ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಲೋಕಲ್ ಹಣ್ಣುಗಳು ಅಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ನಾವು ಆದ್ಯತೆ ಕೊಡೋದು. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ನಾವು ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ತಿನ್ನುವ ಅನ್ನಕ್ಕೆ ಅನ್ನ ಅಂಶ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಆಹಾರ ಬೆಲೆ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಒತ್ತು ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದು ನಮ್ಮ ಇದು ನೋಡಿ ಮಳೆಗಾಲ ಬೆಳೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತ್ರ ಫೈನ್ ರೇಟ್ ಇದು ಇದು ಒಂದು ಉತ್ತಮವಾದ ಆಹಾರ. ನಾವು ಏನು ತಿಂಗಳು ಮೃದುಪಾದೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇದು ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ವೈಟ್ ಬೇರೆ ಕಣ್ಣಿ ಇದು ಒಂದು ರಾಸಾಯನಿಕ ತಾಪು ಮತ್ತೆ ಕೆಮಿಕಲ್ ತಾಪು ಎರಡಕ್ಕೂ ಅನ್ವಯಿಸಿದಂತ ತಿಳಿಯುದು. ಇವು ನಮ್ಮ ರೈತ ಶಾಸಕರು ಇವೆಲ್ಲ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ನಾವು ಭತ್ತ ಒಂದೇ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಭತ್ತದ ಜೊತೆ ಮನೆಗೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚಬೇಕಾದ ಬೆಳೆ ಅಂತ ಭತ್ತದ ಕಾಳುಗಳು, ಉದ್ದಿನ ಕಾಳುಗಳು, ಹೆಸರು ಕಾಳುಗಳು, ಲಾಂಗ್ ನೋಡಿ ಉದ್ದಿನ ಕಾಳು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲವೂ ಬರೀ ಗಿಡ ಆಗ್ತವೆ. ನಮ್ಗೆ ಉದ್ದಿನ ಬೆಳೆಯಿತು ಸುಮಾರು ಒಂದು 1-2 ಮಾರು ಬರೋಂತ ಲಾಂಗ್ ರೇಂಜ್ ಉದ್ದಿನ. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು. ಮತ್ತೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದೇನಪ್ಪ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇವತ್ತಿನ ದಿನಮಾನಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರು ಮನೆಯ ವ್ಯವಸಾಯ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಎನ್ವೈರನ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇದು ಮಾತ್ರ ವ್ಯವಸಾಯ ಉಳಿಯುತ್ತೆ. ನಾವು ಲೇಬರ್ ಓರಿಯೆಂಟೆಡ್, ಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜಿ ಓರಿಯೆಂಟೆಡ್, ಸರ್ಕಾರದ ಓರಿಯೆಂಟೆಡ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ಒಂದು ಆಹಾರಕ್ಕೆ ಬರುವಂತ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆ ಅಂತೂ ಮುಂದಿನ ದಿನಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದೇ ಇದೆ. ಹೀಗಾಗಿ ದೇಶಿ ತಳಿಗಳಲ್ಲಿರೋ ಆರೋಗ್ಯ ರೋಗ ನಿರೋಧಕ ಶಕ್ತಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಬೇರೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ಹೈಬ್ರಿಡ್ ತಳಿಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಇವತ್ತು ಗ್ರಾಹಕರೇ ಪ್ರೂವ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಕಳೆದ 15 ವರ್ಷಗಳಿಂದ ಸಾವಯವ ಕೃಷಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರಂತ ಗ್ರಾಹಕರುಗಳು ಇವತ್ತು ಆರಾಮಾಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇವತ್ತು ಅಷ್ಟು ನಿರ್ದಾಕ್ಷಿಣ್ಯವಾಗಿ ನಮಗೆ ಈ ಅಕ್ಕಿ ಬೇಕೇ ಬೇಕನ್ನೋ ಒಂದು ವಿಷಯ ಅವರು ಸದೃಢವಾಗಿ ನಿಂತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಈಗ ಗ್ರಾಹಕರು ಮುಂದೆ ಬಂದಿರಪ್ಪ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬೆಳೆ ಅಂತ ರೈತ ಮುಂದೆ ಬಂದ್ರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇವತ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನೋಡಿ ಹೈಬ್ರಿಡ್ ತಳಿಗಳು ರಾಸಾಯನಿಕ ಜಮೀನಲ್ಲಿ ಬೆಳೆಯುವಂತ ಕೆಮಿಕಲ್ ವಸ್ತುಗಳನ್ನ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ದೇಶಿ ತಳಿಗಳು ಮತ್ತೆ ಸಾವಯವ ಕೃಷಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬೆಳೆದಿರುವಂತ ಆಹಾರ ತಳಿಗಳು ನಾವು ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಅದಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಹಕ್ಕು ನಮ್ಮ ಕೈಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುವಾಗ ಮತ್ತು ಸರ್ಕಾರದ ಕೈಯಲ್ಲಿ ದುಡ್ಡು, ಕಂಪನಿಗಳ ಕೈಯಲ್ಲಿ ದುಡ್ಡು ನಾವು ಇರಬಾರ್ದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ನನ್ನ ಮಾತನಾಡಲು ಅವಕಾಶ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಟ್ಟ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಈ ಒಂದು ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳನ್ನು ತಿಳಿಸಿದ್ದೇನೆ.
I'm really proud of him because I have visited his farm I think 15 years back. He actually did the first idea of his and to visit that island and then it is he has just started to seed conservation. There was a small seed bank in his house. He never said that, and he showed all that. He was the same enthusiasm. But you see, 15 years, he has built an ecosystem around the tree. So that is that's the beauty of this revival, seed revival. It doesn't happen without the seed. So that is where the importance of seed property starts to be in the hands of farmers. And the consumers also have a great responsibility to support. That is also very, very important. So I invite the next speaker, Mr. Prasad Singh Manager.
ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಪ್ರೀತಿಯ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರಗಳು. ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. ಮಲಯಾಳಂ ನಮ್ಮವರದು. So this seed revival of seed diversity, just is like a 30 years back it started as a fashion, something like a gene. It's like I'm very happy. I consider farmer leader. I think that is what took me to see the seed status and other things. And lots of our green leaders are there. So this is the journey for the 30 years. ಒಂದೇ 30 ವರ್ಷಗಳು ಏನು ನಾವು ಬೀಜ ಸಂರಕ್ಷಣೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಮೊದಲೆಲ್ಲ ನಾವು ಗಿಡಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಬಹಳ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ, ಹೆಂಗೆ ಬೀಜ ಉಳಿಸ್ಬೇಕು, ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತೆಲ್ಲ. ಈಗ ನಾನು ಅದನ್ನ ನಿಂಬಾಗಲೇ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀನಿ. ಮೊದಲು ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ಗಳು ಕೈಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಆಮೇಲೆ ಬೀಜಕ್ಕೆ ವಾಪಸ್ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದ್ಸಲ ನಾವು ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ ಗ್ರಾಹಕನ ಹೋಲಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಏನೇ ನಾವು ಬೆಳೀತಾ ಹೋದ್ರು ಕೂಡ ಎರಡು ಸಂಪೂರ್ಣ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಆ ಥರದ ಒಂದು ಜರ್ನಿ because especially the friends from Andhra, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, because this is what Mysuru showed the way. We do every month diversity festival. Each festival is around minimum 20 lakhs turnover. It's like farmer groups are coming and selling lots of their produce. I think this is what if we can create this kind of melas in all major towns, cities, the urban and peri-urban, we can really bring a lot of change and we can deliver a lot of varieties. So this is I represent organization. Yeah. So I represent organization called Sahaja Samvrudha. Sahaja Samvrudha is an organization, farmers collective, but parallelly we are also building lots of producer companies to sustain our initiatives. It's like a Sahaja Organic owned by the organic farmers, the basic seed producer company Sahaja Seeds owned by the seed savers, and the Devadanya is owned by the millet growers, and the Hulikadu is owned by the organic vegetable growers. Like that we want the companies to link them to the market. And Krisikala is the craft, is the rural artisans art company. So this is what the beauty of the multi-cropping, whether it's like Akadi in Karnataka, Pannedu Pattalu in Andhra, and Baranaja in Himalayas, and this is what the strong millet-based multi-cropping system, a rice-based multi-cropping system prevailing in this country. Look at that. This is what this photo we took in Karnataka and the Goa border. It's like a Jova meets Thailand. What combination it is? If it is a high rainfall, fabric performs well. If it is a high rainfall, Jowar comes. This is what the recent innovation ideas from the farmer. And generally, this is what conservation method. The first one is what the governments or scientists or academicians are doing. They just go to the farmer, collect the seed sample, put it in the gene bank, and do some research. Give it to as a new variety to the farmers. So if the farmer wants the traditional variety, very difficult to get from the gene bank. It's not easy. So that is an exit to conservation and very, very easy to conservation. But other thing is, it's like a farmer seed collection. Farmer collects some seeds, he grows, he shares with the neighbors, and that is what Kisan exchange is happening. So this is the way. The execute is difficult, no meaning. Institute is very difficult. We have something on-farm consumption. It's like maybe we collect some varieties from Tamil Nadu, grow in our farm. It's an on-farm. So that kind of conservation practice we adopted. So these are all some of the things. Because it is a farmer organization, it's not very good work. This is very scientific work. Lots of research papers, stories, publications we are bringing. Because I think simply the farmers grow some varieties. I have heard many scientists say, and they are farmers growing something. No, we are very systematically doing, documenting, and conserving the diversity. So this is the story short. It's like a seed marking. So we do a lot of participatory rural appraiser meetings, and we refer all these British and visitors and Old and Panchangam, especially by Mysuru Panchangam, we have collected lots of ideas. What varieties are there, where it grows, all those things. And also we consult by elder people, and that way we know what varieties are there in that area. This is the seed mapping. So then we come up with the seed map. For example, it's like a Mysuru region, a Tanjavur region, or a Jairabad region, a Kannur region. We create maps. What varieties are earlier, what varieties are now, and what varieties are becoming rare. It's like a popular, becoming rare, and already we lost. Then we start searching the varieties. Then we consult scientists, gene banks, some organic collectives. We try to bring varieties. This is all the process of seed marking and the seed collection. So this is what Karnataka will do most. For rice, ragi, millet, most of the vegetables we have done. It's like we identified 348 rice varieties in Karnataka. There are many varieties, but we have documented 348 varieties. Millet more than 150. Ragi alone, 78 ragi varieties are there. 78 means we should all be naming characteristics, which farmer is conserving. I think without that, you can collect more than 150, 160 varieties. Still, the diversity is there. So this is the thing. Once you collect, you establish the diversity block. This is Sawa, little millet. It's like one panchayat president gave 1 acre land. So there we established actually the women farmers are sitting on the first row. They only grown all these things. Then we invited farmers to do the participatory varietal selection. A variety good, A many, like that it goes. Whatever the farmer selects, that variety we call as a potential variety and goes for large scale multiplication. Whatever the varieties farmers reject, that goes to the community seed bank run by the Mahila Sangha. Yes. Look at that. This is what we gave different color tag to men and women farmers. We can then to see what their preferences. So this is the one women group. Actually, our women group play a major role. They are the custodians. This women group conserves 70 ragi varieties. I told you. This group they conserve. Even they don't have land also. They lease the land and every year they conserve the varieties. Like that we have women group conserving wheat variety, women group conserving ragi variety, women group conserving some rice varieties. Like that is all the work of the rural women groups are doing. So this is what I think the South Karnataka people knows. Ragi is very vulnerable to neck and feet and blast diseases. It's like you start doing simple selection. It's like collect the good panicles. Within 3-4 years you can get rid of this neck blast and severe blast. Minimum 20% of the yield goes up. You can see how it is. It's like a Kollega, this that the priorities and Mumbai area. This what's that? So these are the varieties already farmers bred varieties like a Prasaranga, one of the popular rice, and Anjaneya bred 2-3 varieties, and also NMS2 is there. Like that, whatever the lecture, the popular varieties, these are all the varieties bred by the farmers, they are popular varieties. Actually, HMT and Siddhasena are so popular. And the Jagalur Ragi, Karnataka Ragi is very popular in Odisha. Our Siddhasena variety is very popular in Andhra Pradesh. That variety is bred by one of our Goregoda farmers near Mandya. So this is the community seed bank. Manu Division was here. So this is the seed bank that women group run, and they won the Educator Initiative Award. So this is what how the beauty is something in 2023 that is time failure. So even the maize also failure that time, but on Virbatrappa, the farmer, he grown different millets. You can see how green it is. With all the 9 millets along with the grain amaranthus. So that is possible. Traditional varieties, especially the millets, face this climate change. And this is the beauty. I think most South Karnataka India people must pick it up called Andakora. Koralu, brown top millet, one of the hard millet. This is a gift from the Rayalaseema area. It was very popular in Pavara, Kanmunda, Madhuri, Mysuru, that area. And also Hidu, Sira. So moreover it was lost. But anyway, it's again back. And many farmers are doing it's 18% dietary fiber, oats is only 11%. If you make the total, it will take you more than a month. And you can grow under 3 shades, especially under the tree. So these are all the practice, Gulirani, but it's like varieties although not important, even agronomical practices are also important. Using the traditional ragi, using Guli ragi method, minimum 15 quintals, 25 quintals per acre. Our Devu friend is there from Devu, from Andhra Pradesh. Actually, Andhra Pradesh government picked this concept and promoted it in very big scale. But we cannot be forgotten. Nothing better. So Devu, their government is promoting ragi. So this is one of the promising practice. And look at that varieties, Bagi chili. Actually, Bagi chili, it was in the pre-independence era, it was exporting to Germany, not for eating, to make the recipe. It's like a less spicy, more attractive color. Only in the small pockets like Kundugola and Nigeri, some parts of Kerala people are doing. But in all the shops it's available and the brand name is in there. Because I don't want to name the company, that company cheats the farmers, they sell at 60,000-70,000 rupees seed per acre. In Bellary and Kurnool, they are all buying it as a batch. Because in the name of the variety farmers variety, they are making the profit. So we are now working on bringing back that one, and this is all look at the diversity. How beautiful. During our KISAN SWARAJ Yatra, one of the farmers brought this Bible. So this is also, we can do wonder. It's a simple thing. It's like a carrot is very expensive. Small enough carrot seed is coming from Japan Turkey. It's 20,000 rupees small quantity. Our farmers are so expensive, want to try some basic. This is near the Bangalore. Farmers did this comparison, different carrots. So look at that. This is what yellow carrot is very soft. Red carrot is normal. Black carrot is very medicinal. So this is what we train our consumers. So especially Rajmuri or in Mysuru, in many of the shops you will easily see this Rajmuri, very popular rice in the Mysuru and around the area. So this is what especially Usha is campaign. Really one decade campaign brought back many varieties and created rice users. That's why before rice campaign, red rice, black rice, it was not familiar. But now many farmers are growing and selling this all the day. So that what we use, we don't call rice. If you call rice, Dalal fix the price. Confused them. It's a diabetic rice. Rice for jaundice. This is what traditional is there. Rice for pulao, rice for offering the God. This is the trick we use and selling crores of worth of rices. But only thing is you must come up with the traditional knowledge, backing with scientific lab analysis and other things. So that with the help of Zero-Waste campaign, we do. So if you look, this photo is nearby one in Koor, Virajpete. It's just on 80 kilometers from here. So one of the farmers dedicated, he grows all these rices. Look at that, how beautiful. This is last year season 4. And we bring the calendars to create awareness. This is very much important. Every year we bring different calendars. Actually, tomorrow we are releasing one soil calendar. Last year it was neglected crop calendar. And also publications also. Yes. So this is what now we are working on setting up of the red rice mill, community mill. Look, I am not calling rice, especially the 60 lakh rupees workshop mill process only red rice sector, Tanapur, Karnataka, Kuriola, and Shigava in North Karnataka. So we know, because lots of demand for the red rices, and in Bangalore market they put color to the normal rice and they sell as a red rice. Then consumers also got confused. So consumers are looking red rice. So this is what we are now set up the red rice mill. So this is what rice mill. You know how to sell next. All these stores is easy to put. Consumers are really very supportive. If you believe, if you are farm, really they support your initiative. So the same way like roots and tubers, one more opportunistic crop. I think I asked everyone to work more on the roots and tubers. I think this is the only crop without any money, without any energy, you can store under the soil. That's Korean. Viticulture, Ksou. Some point you are not harvesting this year, you harvest next year, other next year, after 10 years you harvest, it will become bigger and bigger. So that it's like a zero investment. So this is what you can do. When you go to the shop side, you can see that Hurricane Exporting Group, they sell the papaya powder. It's like not even 15-20 rupees on tuber. It looks very ugly, but you cook, it will be very tough purple. Add it to rice, purple rice. Add it to water, purple water. Add it to idli, purple idli. Add it to dosa, it's purple dosa. But it's anti-cancer. We have to convince your consumer. I have not seen it food there. With the purple idli. I think pick up all the simple ideas and make more money and conserve diversity. The same with aerial potato. You plant once. I request everyone buy one aerial potato. You plant it once. Next 3-4 years you need not to plant. Very Ugadi time it will come its own. So these are all interesting. You can make finger chips and also no joint pain. If you eat aloo, it's vayu, joint pain. This is a medicinal. So this is what all the next roots and tuber mela in Chennai, Mysuru and farmers market. So this is what recently we did it in Mysuru. Desi oil mela, you can see that Pulliman Ghana is there. Because traditional oils are very expensive, more than 400 rupees. Consumers are not buying. Most of the oil makers, they requested, KP, can you do some mela? So this is what we came up with, Desi oil mela. We showed people not only what are all their different oils, something ended up with around 19 lakh rupees turnover in that mela. So now we will do this melas regularly. So, next. But only thing is we need to create stories. This is what Dal Mela. I can tell hundreds of stories. It's like one of the Jawar tour. It's like nowadays this Jawar recently tour is not available. We requested our farmers to go, they do, but how to sell? It's all very close. When we make dal, the dal is 270 rupees per kilo. Market is not even 110 or 120. How to do? For that we created Desi Dal Mela. How to attract consumers?
Look at this black chana, yellow ground. It is remedy for the kidney stone. This is we checked with the farmers, checked with the local doctor. People said yes, it works. So people have a kidney problem, they can soak this black chana overnight and consume that water. That cures like that we can solve. Then in the Mela we promoted it in a very big scale. Apart from that, we also put that Jawar Kauri. So one of our Vinayaka Mahila Sangha that Fatima and others are here. They are now 5 to 6, 7 tons food they are buying and result they are selling. So this is all very still we are struggling myself and so we did a lot this Kannada mix. But South India maize is not a very issue. Our that's what still we are struggling to live to this mix. So this story is amazing. Mysuru people are there, Sula is there. I think it's not just Khadi. I think that name is, if you use Sula, this kind of cloth, they know it's Khadi. Because it's an Indian cotton, there are 4 cottons. Indian cotton and Ethiopian cotton are the old ones. American cotton and the South American cotton are the new old cotton. All now, we say Kali, this Kali Gramodyo. That is not, it's an American cotton, BT cotton. Then they do all hand spinning and hand weaving. There is not true Kali. True Kali means people must do Kunduru, Kala, what is that, Bangladeshi, Vega, or our Tamil Nadu varieties there. So this is what they make. So this is all about the level. Next. Look at how hard it is. So these are all the seed savers. What we Sahaja did, organic farmers or natural farmers. Yabo next level is the seed savers. Yabo is the seed producers. So now we are creating seed producers. Their job is to just produce quality seeds. Our seeds are much better than any seed corporations. Company seeds that we can do. The Sahaja seeds is doing more than 1.2 crore business. We can do wonder. I think I am looking this kind of farmer-owned seed companies must come everywhere across India. So this is all about our story. So please visit Sahaja Seeds, Devganya, Sahaja Organic, Muktagangothri. Apart from all our biodiversity festivals come, pick up the seed. That is, that is a memory for this Mysuru visit. Thank you all. We will next time.
This time is not enough, but we have to take a good shot. So next time, invite Dr. Rajapur. And after this talk, there will be some time, some 10 minutes, so people can ask questions, challenges which you face, and there are people who can help you to understand how to overcome. So please be prepared for that question.
Thank you. Good evening to all of you. Thanks to the organizers for giving me this opportunity. And excellent three presentations, beautiful photographs, and beautiful stories. My subject is going to be very bright. So this is your future requirement and the topic that if you want to really bring the seed sovereignty across India, what are the issues? Are there provisions that government gives? Are they available to you? Can we actually make things happen? Actually, what Dr. There are some of the issues which I would like to speak. Special variety population. If you see some of the reasons why actually traditional varieties happen. And thank you for asking this question. Prior to this in Malaya and Kerala, where very scientific and very difficult questions were asked. Then what are the difficulties in taking traditional varieties to move forward? And the story is that we lost many of the traditional varieties for these reasons. And the traditional knowledge that is with our farmers is completely eroding, not being used,
and not being respected. They will dedicate support and then coming from the government, though there are lots of policies, acts, which are favorable to traditional varieties. But on the ground, there are not really much happening for various reasons. In addition to all these things, there is also climate change dimension here, which is changing. So our approach towards climate change also should be very careful now. Earlier, I was thinking traditional varieties originating from a particular place should be promoted there. But the place itself is changing now. The place which was with heavy rainfall is now coming up with prolonged drought periods. And where prolonged drought is there, floods are coming. So the change is happening in the environment, and accordingly it is evaluate the traditional varieties for their abilities to withstand or having the climate resilience. That can be promoted irrespective of the reason they are there. Now you can see one example. I think even on my first speaker, more than 100,000 varieties, 110,000 varieties of rice alone are there. 40,000 used to be cultivated in 1930s. 1,100 varieties and hybrids, including some GM, through a different method, are released, and then you have 30 released varieties cover almost 70 to 80% of the cultivated area, which means from 40,000 we have come down to 30. And one variety alone covers about 20%, before. So this way, we are reducing and losing the diversity. So that is why the topic is extremely important, that we should conserve and also use and also promote and also give sovereignty to the farmers so that they can need not depend on others for the seed. So there are some interesting questions which I would like to answer. Some of you may agree, disagree. You can always discuss. Are they resilient to both climate and pests? Are they nutritionally dense in quality and quantity? Yes. So these are missing in the released varieties. That's why I asked this question. While we actually promoted yield, we lost the quality. Quality in terms of the not only minerals, vitamins, and other proteins is quality, but also the quantity of those minerals is reduced and almost nil. There was a publication about 50 varieties of rice released, almost nothing except carbohydrates. So we are losing actually the food value from that. Or the series and released varieties mutually exclusive? I said no, because diversity is the nature's law. It's not that you will not find India even after 50 years completely cultivating only traditional varieties. There will be some released varieties. Released varieties did not come from the sky. They were developed from the traditional varieties. So last 30 years, 40 years back, what was collected and a simple selection process they in varieties. Such varieties will move for long. Then the are these better than are these? Maybe some collected after evaluation will be completed. So that is why the evaluation is extremely important reason why, and also the stress wise, which stress the plant of the crop is facing. Do they perform always better in the end? Yeah, not necessarily, but mostly the traditional varieties perform better in natural farming compared to chemical farming. So when if you are doing natural farming, you only select the traditional varieties. That is the general rule. Selected trees perform in the entire India. Some yes, exceptionally, but mostly they are region specific, ecosystem specific. In only particular areas they perform much better compared to. So the release of the varieties for the entire India for 3-4 states is no more going to be acceptable. That's where we need to change too many varieties. If you follow the traditional varieties of that region, definitely it will stay for longer. And existing evidence, if there existing evidence to invest in traditional varieties, ample varieties is there, but no much investments are coming. So this is another thing. Next, some more, we can use food security. These people, what the government is unable to move forward because there is a threat from the scientific community that if you try to promote too much traditional varieties, India will become too insecure because they are knowing that they will not be there, hence there will be a problem. If food security is threatened by even now, hardly you tell me what is food security now. Even very recently, only fruits and vegetables are included in food security. Otherwise, it's only grains and mostly rice and wheat. And rice and wheat variety is coming maximum 4 to 5 states. So we have so many other states where more than 45% people are still using the traditional varieties. So the current global perspective on agroecology, now the scientific institutes who have a vision for the future, they completely realize that if we continue to do the agriculture the way that we are doing, we will be doomed. The temperature will rise, and then the extreme events are increasing every year, which is extremely difficult to bear. Even human survival is at the question. So the changing agriculture is not only for food, even for human survival, changing agriculture is extremely important. What is CGIR? That is the International Agricultural Research. So these CGIR institutes, one of the examples in India is that there are others also. They have also realized monocrop based institutes is difficult. So they have come up with multiple cropping systems and separate projects they are working. So monocropping is not order of the day today. Unless we change that, we will not get the benefits of the yeah, we can see some of the national framework that acts and policies I try to view, which are having provision for traditional varieties, natural farming promotion. But how much in reality is happening is a matter of big question. So if you see that couple, did not recognize traditional varieties at all. There is no mention there. But in the new version, they are mentioning, and they are also claiming that there is a provision to make the cities exchange legal, and the corporate analysis will not be applicable to these varieties, and registration mandatory is exempted for these sensitive varieties. These are some of the things that we are trying to promote, but as a whole, if you see seed bill, there are many other things which are missing, which needs to be really revamped to suit to not only India, even for the protecting the human survival. We need really to bring some changes in. And we have the National Agricultural Policy, the protection of plant varieties. National agricultural policies are very good. We are intellectuals, we get good policies. But policy is not converted into schemes, implementation, budget allocation, those things are not happening. So national agricultural policy certainly talks about traditional varieties, but not much budget allocation of that. In KISAN the farmer varieties versus traditional varieties, they do not require, the word traditional variety is not there, and the job ends once they give you certificate. Your farmer variety is recognized, and you have the ownership, and put that photo into your home and wall. Beyond that, no seed production, no seed supply chain, no support. It is not their job. So that's how they disconnect. Then the Amendment Act of Biological Diversity Act has come. It is not linked again to seed systems and supply chains. You recognize land races, you give them credit, but you don't really convert it to seed states. They don't have budget, they don't have schemes to connect to the seed system. Seed policies, there is an action plan for traditional conservation, particularly fruits and vegetables. So many people told. Actually, in the 1960s, most of the exotic vegetables were imported into India and they were released as a variety.
and they are taking more. Whereas if you see, we have a large number of traditional varieties in fruits and vegetables. They are ignored. These varieties which are exotic came into India, they are very popular. Then we have the national policy for farmers. Then this supports community seed banks. But till recently, only some very meager amount has come from supporting community seed banks. The real conversion of this national policy for farmers to community seed banks is not there. National Food Security Act very well mentioned about traditional varieties. We have almost double the protein value. We have the almost whatever is missing in our food today, they are there in the traditional varieties. But the so-called Food Security Act do not have a major program on dealing with the malnutrition with the help of the traditional varieties. Lot of scope for getting these things. Agri-variety policy not a status of traditional variety is considered as a base material for developing breeding to the new varieties. But you never recognize traditional variety as a variety. Whereas it has got utilized and it is present in the ground level and it gives the lot of other advantages, but it is not utilized as a variety. It is only considered as a jump crop. National Mission for Sustainable Agriculture, good, but community conservation is not focused on that, and is RKV, PKV are very good. Some of the states really took the advantage of these programs, and then they multiplied the some varieties like doing both in the rice, and then many other varieties are multiplied in the states, but in a very small, meager, that is not even 1% of the total production is there. So the nutrition measure, lot of scope for traditional varieties in the nutrition measure, but the role is missing there. And the seed quality standards is a major thing which people oppose, government oppose, and community seed standards are well developed, and a good example from Odisha is there, where they have done it and 4 languages they have released by considering the community perceptions and seed qualities. Next, please. Yeah, there is also a mechanism like
I am here this
particular trade advantage. You can register with the ICR and UPCR. And again,
KISAN SWARAJ.
recognize certificate given, living
You are
in
here.
India. It is never given to
I am
anybody
in the
for
main
or it is not
auditorium
given
for
further in the seed society. This is a
presentation.
very good program where the some of
No.
varieties
I
like
am
Kerala,
a participant of this mela.
Paliza festival from Hyderabad,
Yes, I
where
am here.
the yellow color green ground, the protein is very important for the lactating mothers and children, and very good quality protein is there. So we have good varieties there, but they are recognized also, they are known also, but unless there is a real government support, they cannot be spread, and the real advantage to the farmers will not come. Next, please. Then you have the Odisha example, as I told you, is almost a hard work of over 5 years, and with a great cooperation with the government of Odisha, Jungle operating procedures to release the land races is established. And the government order in June, 4 land races of Ragi are mainstreamed already
Many other states here. Tamil Nadu is another example. A large city here, excellent work is going on in red varieties, but still try to compare the total volume of what is happening, how much you are able to make details because of lack of budget provision. Without bothering for the budget, we have taken lot of things. Together is equal to the production of particular variety. If a farmer has been cultivating for last 2 years or 5 years, clearly release variety, it's working well for him. We did not change it and try to put force on changing to traditional variety. So it is, they say natural farming is a variety neutral technology. So varieties are important, but of course, I'm not talking about hybrids and GMs. They are still great for more hungry for fertilizers and pesticides. But even the old varieties also can perform very well if you combine with the other form. Nowadays, we have a lot of challenges. Market prices are also important. People started now focusing, developing some standards for the market. Like whatever the medicine standards are required, and what is make enable the farmers when they aggregate. If we are even after 5 years, 10 years, we need procedures to be set in place to export, which is happening. And it is not the seed is not the just genetical, but it is also culture. It is embedded in the culture is embedded in the seed. So that is why we maintaining the seed through our culture is extremely important. Vulnerability is there. Of course, a lot of fragmentation, so many institutes, more than 80 or 85 institutes are there by SIA for different jobs, different fields. Like CJR has got a monograph, we are also in the same board. Though there is one integrated government system institute, but real polycropping, which is important for the natural farming, we don't have much research, not much investment. The natural farming combined with the traditional, it needs to be done. There are some key takeaways from this current situation. Can I have next slide, please? Yeah. You should have unconditional rights for the farmers. They are there, but still, when implementing, they face some problem. And why the corporates can sell with the brand name, why farmers cannot sell with the traditional variety? I don't know. Why not? If like the traditional variety, if you are multiplying, you are following certain basic standards of viability, then why not to change and allow them to stand? Then certain groups, particularly women, need a real push for bringing the natural farming and the traditional varieties in combination. The non-farm conservation is extremely important, not in the bank. When they are on the farm, then they face the climate change and they actually develop for the needs. Then we have the traditional millet pulses are getting very less attention. They cannot be grown separately, they have to be part of the curriculum. Then only things will happen. then we have to state clean heritage commissions can be established to promote this. And procurement, what happening in Odisha can happen in many other states. If there is a procurement, there is a easy to sell. That's how the rice and wheat became popular. The easy crop, easy to sell. So can you may facilitate other foreign crops coming in the market, easy to sell for them. I think I have come to the end. These are not just biological or behavioral materials, they are the memory of agriculture, identity of community, and the foundation of this sovereignty. The seed sovereignty is still in the Thank you. Thank you very much.
Presentation was actually taking more time to because there is some shortage of time, we have to start the next presentation. People are ready. It's a very, very interesting and what I want to just conclude that I think at the last slide, that this is not a commodity for us. This is not a commodity for us. But for the seed companies and to also put to a certain extent of environment, it will help the commodity because it's a living thing. But for us, it is a living thing. It's a living thing and it is we are connected to it in many ways. So that I think we have to carry back in our future. And all of them because to be here in the next 2 days and please find time to engage with them because this is the most important thing to continue this journey to build our nation and also to further old world for the biodiversity conservation. So thank you to all the speakers for a beautiful presentation and the next week there will be 2 days. There will be 3 value sessions for the food sovereignty. Please attend the value sessions and get more clarity. Thank you all.
Before I call them, I just want a small announcement here. What you are going to see is something very unique. Probably one of the lifetimes transformed, just something like this. In whole of India, there are hardly any communities which are still continuing this process of the whole cotton by hand. So you're going to see something like that that's coming from Sri Lanka. There's a group of women who are going to showcase that, demonstrate to us. So let us basically, if you have your friends who are there, who have gone along, you can call them back because this is not going to be an opportunity that knocks your door very often. So I will invite our Ksou team, the Patnulu gang, to come with their Prasaranga. We will also ask them. Please give a big hand to something that's absolutely rare, not anything you can do. If you want to know what is happening from cotton, if there's a dress, if you think it's so easy, there are so many places, there are so many steps behind it. Removing the seeds from the cotton, and then they will have to make it into a yarn. So there are so many steps in that where they remove the dirt, they UV directionalize it, they will basically beat it and open up the cotton, make it fluffy, and all that you will see. That's it. I just want to know if this is fine. There we are. Camera, you okay now?
Okay, sir.
That's it. How can I know if you are ready for the video also? Then, so this is like I said.
Sir,
this is
hello.
coming from Sri Lanka in India. Almost all over India, we have people, we have communities which are growing cotton. From there, it will be given to the women who will actually spin them into beautiful yarn, and from there, you will go to the details. We all know that. But to convert cotton into yarn, there is so much of work behind. And the communities today have actually taken to a lot of machines. So here is one community which is still continuing. If I have to give you a small idea about what is being spun from our Indian cotton, which is called the half staple, we used to have a muslin. The count goes from 500 to 5,000, 5,000 and all that, right? So a muslin sari, for example, they would fold it and put it into a matchbox. We have all read a lot of folklore. The real part of the folklore story is that they could fold the saree and put it in a house. They would actually put a saree to a ring and take it. That was coming from this spinning that this people are doing. That was the best part of the first art. This is not just an artist that I see. It is not just basically a product, another product or a commodity. It just was an art and buy and really get expressed. So I invite Samyukta to give a short introduction to this, and then we'll go on to what we do. Each one will be doing 1% of this whole package for this day, and from there it goes to it. From there, there was so much that was over. Actually, India wrote beautiful history. All this years, our cotton dominated the world, cotton dominated our technology because of that. This is just one of the very important of course good countries. There is not enough to add to that development. I saw
good evening to everybody. I will be speaking in English and a little bit in Hindi and Telugu. Thank you for the KISAN SWARAJ SAMMELAN, and thank you to all of you for having made it to see this very special craft. And not just thank you, even we are also very happy that we are able to bring this craft to all of you from all over the southern region as well as Mysuru. So what is so special about this, right? So all of us have seen cloth. So this cloth that I am holding in my hand is a sari. All of us have seen saris, all of us wear saris. So what is so special about this, right? But yes, what you are going to see, as Anantu was mentioning, is unparalleled in the world. You will not be able to see this kind of entire value chain from the cotton to yarn, from yarn to weaving and complete product. Everything is done in one area, Srikakulam, and entirely with handheld tools. There is absolutely no power used. We are very, very fortunate that India and Srikakulam in particular has been able to keep this continuum and the textile heritage alive for all of us to witness this today. So, if we look at our history, so much has been already, I think all of us know that we have been the world leaders in cotton textiles. So how did we spin until the Industrial Revolution? Until the Industrial Revolution, if I just told you that the way that they are going to show the demonstration today, that is how we have made our fabric. That is probably how we made our fabric for hundreds and probably with some modifications for thousands of years. And Industrial Revolution is hardly 200 years old, right? So thanks to people, these very seemingly simple looking ladies are the forebearers of a very rich textile tradition of Ponduru Khadi or Ponduru handspun. Ponduru is a place in Srikakulam district of Andhra Pradesh, and Paknulu is the specific way of making this kind of yarn. So the speciality, there are 3 or 4, let me sum it up and we'll show you a short film. So 1, the cotton is locally grown, it is a desi cotton, it is a short staple cotton, largely pest resistant with no or very little irrigation, it is largely rain fed. So that is the first about the cotton. It is grown by farmers locally, it is called Convocation. The second is it is locally spun. There are 5 stages in converting from cotton to yarn, which you will see, we will show the demo. And finally, from the yarn to this beautiful fabric, which is a textile, heritage textile. Which in India we can be truly proud of. There is no parallel in the world where somebody can spin. Now these ladies here, 1,000 meters of yarn, 1,000 meters of yarn, which is a kilometer of yarn, weighs just 10 grams. Weighs just 10 grams. Please look at it. So that is the skill, and entirely done with hand tools, with no mechanization in any of this four language. So that is what you will witness today. I congratulate all of you for making the choice to be here to witness this. Thank you. First, we will start with a short video, and then we will start with the demo.
Transform this activities into a village and how this day straightened, drawn, and fashioned into yarn, and how this yarn itself actually becomes, through several 6 stages or 8 stages, it actually becomes fabric. If there's one place in this entire world where you can see this whole process, it's in Mysuru and nearby villages of Ksou Campus district in Andhra Pradesh. When you touch a cotton fabric, what you're actually experiencing in that touch is the minimal fingers and workmanship of a farmer, of a spinner, and the weaver. And every square inch of a cotton fabric is as handmade as it can get. The story of cotton in India is this. So the cotton is usually a genetically modified variety of hybrid. So it is grown somewhere, it becomes yarn somewhere else, and then it is woven somewhere else. And this whole process is a highly mechanized process. But contrast this with how it happens here in Mysuru and nearby, where Bhagavathama, in her humble kitchen, using indigenous tools, she does exactly the same things. From the cotton fiber to the yarn, she completely does the entire magical transformation in her house. And this yarn is then woven by weavers in Mysuru and nearby into the famous Mysuru.
We once again, can you just pause this? See, we did it in a very 1.5 speed. But from here on, just give us a minute, we'll pause it and we'll run it to the regular speed. From here, continue in regular speed.
ఏరుతాం ఆ ఏరింది దుఃఖ గుర్తు పిక్క తీస్తాం పిక్క తీసిన తర్వాత బాణంతో పించుతాడు పింఛన్ పెట్టిన తర్వాత అందులో తొక్కు తీస్తాం ఆ తొక్కు తీసిన తర్వాత బ్యాలే చేస్తాం బ్యాలే చేసిన తర్వాత చుట్టుపక్కలతో మళ్ళీ బాణంతో వేసి చుట్టుపక్కలతో ఏపులు చుట్టాం ఏపులు చుట్టిన తర్వాత కాట్లకి వెళ్తాం కాట్ల దగ్గర కూర్చొని కబురు పెట్టి కొత్తిలో ఆ ఏపు పెట్టి దారం తీస్తాం దారం తీసిన తర్వాత యాడ్ కట్టినది మళ్ళీ ఆ నూనె అనేది యాడ్ కట్టినది పోస్తాం అప్పుడు చిలక చూడతాం అప్పుడు ఖరీదుకి అది కవరిస్తే వాళ్ళకి ఖరీదుకి ఇవ్వడానికి స్టార్ట్ చేస్తాం.
ఈ ప్రాంతంలో పాటు నూలు సన్న మంచి నూలు అంటాం. ముందూరు చుట్టుపక్కల ఉండేటటువంటి ప్రాంతం పట్టుశాలి ఈ ప్రాంతాల్లోనే ఉన్నారు. వాళ్ళు తీసినటువంటి నూలుని పాటు నూలు అంటారు, పట్టుశాలి నూలు అన్నారు. ఎందుకంటే అది వంశపారంపర్యంగా ఎన్నో తరాల నుండి వచ్చినటువంటిది. మగవాళ్ళు వేసేవాళ్ళు అందరూ ఇంచుమించుగా. కానీ కొంతమంది ఏం చేశారంటే వ్యాపారాలు.
We are just going to pause the movie and start with the demo because the subtitles are not there to this particular file, but we will try to show it sometime, maybe later, maybe tomorrow, most of you are there. So let us start with the demo. Can we have the lights on? So this is Kondapatti. This is, as I said, it's a rain-fed cotton and locally grown by farmers in and around Mysuru. And so the first step involves, this is a fish jawbone. This is a fish jawbone of a particular fish called Valuga chapa, which belongs to the catfish family. So the interesting thing is that this fish is not from Srikakulam. It is from the Godavari rivers, we will be projecting each thing on the screen. Please bear with us. It will take a couple of seconds for us to do it. So the first action involves cleaning with the fish jaw bone. By the way, you can all also be part of, you can see it up close. Tomorrow, we have two sessions, 11 to 1, and also from 4 to 6. 11 to 1 and 4 to 6. So there also you can come in the sports ground workshop space. You can come in. So as you can all see, the cotton is all clumped up. So the first step of opening up the fibers, which are very clinging to the seed, using the very fine teeth of this fish jaw bone. So there is a trader who comes every once in a while to these villages and then they buy the fish jaw bone from them. So that is, first of all, they buy the cotton from farmers directly. If they are working with a society, then the society supplies the cotton to them. So this is the very first step. You can see it is called Valuga Chapa and the scientific name is Valugo Acto. So that is the first step. If we can show just a second. So in this process, what is happening is, you can take a close-up shot. The fine teeth remove the dried leaves and other impurities that are there, because from the feet directly the cotton is coming to them. So the very fine teeth, they are actually helping to, it's the first level of cleaning and opening up the, it's like when our hair is fully clumped up, how do we comb and remove the knots? It is similar to that. So that is the first step. First step, using the fish jaw bone and opening it up. Okay. So that is the first step. Second step. What is the second step? Any guesses? So the next step. Any guesses? What do we do? No. The seed, this is the first. This is the first step. You can see the seed is in there. Just the fibers are being cleared out. So what could be the second step? Ginning. Yes, what is ginning? Removing the seed. Thank you. So that is exactly what Chandrakala is doing. I forgot to introduce them. I'm so sorry. So that is Shyamala, Chandrakala and Lakshmi. All of them are from Murapaka village near Konduru. So this is a very, very gentle way of separating the seed from the cotton. It is almost like chapati, making chapati. So all of them have this palaka, this log of wood and an iron rolling pin in their bones. And this is, though it looks very simple, those who did the workshop in the evening, in the afternoon will testify that it is actually quite difficult to do that. So it's a 2 jerk movements, and then you have the seed falling neatly to one side. And that seed is what is purchased by the farmers and sold back into the field. So this cotton is actually grows this height and it is harvested twice in a year. So, and all these seeds, I don't know, like since ever they must have been there because every time they're going back into the soil and so it is a very so in modern ginning, so in the ginning using machines, it becomes powder. It gets crushed. Every time you have to buy seed again. And I think any of you who know cotton farming, most of you may know that every time in BT and all you have to purchase the seed again and again. So this is rotation. So here neatly the thing is falling to one side and you have at the end of ginning cotton in like this. So the seed has been separated and you have this cotton. Now what do we do with this? So next, so just when we thought only Hindu gods have the bow, so we have also our spinners using the bow, and what you will see next is the process of opening up the fiber using the bow. So in this process, the fiber is getting totally opened up. The vibrations of the bow, the string are applied to the cotton in a continuous action. And there is a cloud on earth. So this process, in fact, when they do it in their homes, of course here they have used very little cotton, but generally there is a huge expansive, beautiful like a cloud, so that we will be able to see. This opening up also does two things. One, you can see the clumps in the cotton, which they remove with hand, and also the not so mature fibers are all weeded out in the process because they fly away or they fall off. Usually there is a big plant which they keep, and on that now for demo purpose we brought a big small plant, but there is usually a big plant, and there they do this whole thing and it becomes like this huge fluffy cloud. I would encourage all of you to come and watch once again up close. You will be really in for something visually very dramatic. So please do come tomorrow also in the 11 to 1 or from 4 to 6. So it is almost like a cotton candy. After this, so this they do for some time. We are crunching the tie. We want to show all the processes, so we are going to show it in the next segment. So once we are done, it will be set up Bali. Next she will show. You can see she's picking out the clumps. So that is the end product using the board. That goes on to something something called a balni. Now, so you please watch this and maybe you can tell me what is happening. You please take it from this side. Please come this side. The front is the important part. So what is happening here? Yes, they're becoming longer, they're being drawn out. What else? What else is happening? They're being passed through rollers. The rollers don't have teeth. They're just rollers. What else is happening? Flattened. Right. So when they're passing through the rollers, they're becoming flattened. So due to which, how is the cotton looking now? Shinier. Yes. So it looks like it has just, so this to one particular this much of cotton, they do it several times, almost 20 times. Putting it through. This is very, very important to get fine yarn. So by this process, you can see that it almost becomes smooth, like a more lady hair. So it becomes like really very, very smooth. I would also like to show you the end product of this. So every time you draw out, you pinch it and then you place it back and pass it through the rollers. Yeah. So this is the end product. So you can see how it looks after the barley. Okay. So I somehow there used to be this lovely dancer called Chandralekha. I don't know if everybody knows, but she used to have hair like this. So when I look at this, I feel that. So anyway, so this is how it looks after doing it multiple times. After this, once again we do the bow. Multiple times, so due to lack of time, we are crunching it. We will show you the next step and then we go on to spooling, but that's not the name. Just 5 more minutes. So once again, we have to open it up with the bow. So that it becomes a mass, a sheet. The bow that she is using is also a heritage tool. It is made out of this Vegi Pannu, we call it in Telugu. It's a berry. It is made with the branch of that tree. They soak it in water for 3 days, and when it is wet, they bend it and make a bow. So most of these things are actually maintained also by them. Unfortunately, we don't even have people to, if there is some problem or there is something, they are the ones, they are the mechanics, they have to do everything. So nowadays that is the that is the situation. So I'm just sharing that also. So you can see that the bow moves from left to right and constantly applying the vibrations of the string. these things, they do it on their own. It is just that now there are 3 people are showing you, but everybody does every single thing from start to finish. There is nobody who says, okay, there is no division of labor here. Everybody has all these things in their homes and they do the whole process in their own homes. If anybody has a chance to visit spinning, how it is done today, it is involving huge machineries and huge, fossil fuel and power. And here we still have, thanks to them, a situation where we can see how India always made its handspun yarn. So now she is rolling it into what is called a puni. So this is the form in which it is ready for spinning. So I think that some of you who are into spinning may have got this puni, but you don't know these processes. So today the processes till the puni are done using machines. I don't know if any of you know this, but all khadi is produced like that. Till this stage, it is all mechanized. At the very final stage, there are 2 ways of spinning. Today you are going to see one, which is on the Gandhi Chakra. There is another main way in which we are making khadi today, and that is using the Ambar Chakra. So we will also see, if possible, I will try to show one video of that as well. But definitely, if you come tomorrow, I will show you more things. Okay, now we will see the penultimate, the final step. This is a banana bark, and they keep it wrapped in this. So Lakshmana is one of the 100-count spinners we have. In all the transportation, a little bit, when it was coming down, it got a little. So, what is spinning, right? Please watch her. So, there is a wheel which she is rotating with her right hand, and to her left, there is a spindle. There is a spindle. Yes. So, that is a single spindle. The wheel is connected to the spindle with this white thread. So as she's turning the wheel, the spindle also turns, and it is imparting twist into the fiber. So the spinning consists of 3 sections: drawing, imparting the twist, and winding it back into the spindle. So these 3 steps, so seemingly easily she is doing. However, we know that those who try, it is very, very difficult. It's a highly coordinated activity. Right hand, left hand, and her eye. So, how thick or thin the yarn can be is decided by her. The spinner decides. It is also a testimony to her skill. So, Lakshmana, so this yarn, so what is happening is the twist from the yarn is slowly entering into the cotton, and as she moves her hand, it is slowly twining and making the thread. not the only activity. They're not like full time, they don't go on doing this. Along with their home, household chores and other family work, they do this, and approximately 5 to 6 hours in a day they spend on these different stages of spinning. So in one day, in general, on an average, they can make one hand. Now, what do I mean by one hand? This is a hand. Khadi hand, Patnulu hand. This is the open pisana. Now, once it is in the spindle, it has to be bound on a yam. So from the spindle, it becomes, they wind it around this frame. It is, each side is 25 centimeters, so one round makes 1 meter. So they make 1000 meters. They make what is called a hand. So the hand is the form in which we give it to the dealers. As they do this, they also count. They count the number of times it is going. So once they do that, they remove it from that, and this is how it looks. What is the length of this? 1000 meters, 1 kilometer, that's right. And it weighs anything between these spinners are, the speciality is fine count. So 1000 meters divided by the weight gives the count. So if it is 10 grams, then it is hundreds count. If it is 12 grams, it may be something less. So according to the count, they are paid. And generally they are able to make one hand in a day, which includes the pre-spinning as well as the 1000 meters. So that's how fast they are actually spinning. So this, now once it is like this, how do you give it to the dealer? That again is a very beautiful process. You can watch. So this is the final form called a chilapa, 1000 meters. This is how we give to the meters. So roughly 9 to 10 of these are required for 1 meter. And from here the weaver takes another 6 different steps to make cloth. That we are not able to show, but if you come for the workshop, I will show you what are the next stages. Winding, warping, sizing, and finally setting it up on the loom and weaving. So another 5 to 6 stages. So totally about a dozen stages of entirely handwork is required to make this particular particular sari. So that is the specialty of these ladies here. Is there may be some pockets which are spinning, but they can't make this fine yarn. In Bengal, very fine gowns they make, hundreds, 200, 300, but they are all made on the ambar charkha. Now, what is the ambar charkha? That you will have to come and see. Come, I will show you the video of how an ambar charkha works. But ambar charkha is how we make khadi in India today. This is just a few of them, few hundreds probably, and even fewer weavers. Weavers are even difficult to find because weavers are able to, they have other options. Whereas if farmers are growing this cotton because of the khadi industry, tomorrow if weavers don't do, then spinners will stop. If spinners will stop, the farmers have very readily they can go to any other cotton, you all know. So that is the end of this whole knowledge system and this excellent textile heritage which we still have in our possession in India. And thanks to people like Lakshmi, Chandrakala and Shamala, please give them a big hand. So we request all of you to come to the workshop and visit the place in Italy. So the workshop is in the sports ground. Please come. We also have products and we are also selling souvenirs. You can get autographed souvenirs from them with whatever they have spun with something that you have witnessed today. It is very, very rare. And with the souvenir, you can talk to 10 more people and other your acquaintances and tell your friends about such a beautiful craft we still have and nobody knows about it. So yes, thank you all for this opportunity and thank you all for అందరికీ కూడా ఇక్కడికి వచ్చి ఇంత మంచిగా మీరు ప్రదర్శన చూపించిన దానికి చాలా థ్యాంక్స్. సో ప్లీజ్ డూ కమ్ అండ్ విజిట్ us next day tomorrow. Yeah, no. Okay, 11 to 1 tomorrow, 11 to 1 and 4 to 6. There you go.
ನಾನೊಂದು ಮಾತಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಕುಂದೂರು ಕುಂದೂರು spinners are highly skilled, but super specialty skill they have. But what we people can do, we also can do training. We all do training. A lot of people in Karnataka also do training in box check. If you can get all this, like a lot of this quality, but still you can do it. The economics is like that. If you still for an hour in a day, if you is able to produce yarn for about 40 meters of cloth, spin every day for a day. That is real value, yarn cloth. So you can make 40 meters if you spin an hour in a day. Okay. So what happens if 40 people spin every day for an hour, we can give full-time employment for a week. So assume that there is 400 people. So if they all spin every day, so they can give employment for 40 viewers in their own videos. And there is no financial expense, just a barter system. You just keep it up and they spin the week for you, we take back the profit. It's more sustainable, real Atmanirbhar Bharat is real Atmanirbhar happens through this. Thank you.
Get a big hand to these ladies. Thanks a lot for coming.
I forgot to mention one main important thing. I keep forgetting. So they are all members of Chitrika Artisan Producer Company, which is a producer company of weavers working in 3 clusters. They are from Srikakulam. We have a similar cluster in East Godavari and in Narayanpet. So that Chitrika is the name of the Chitrika Foundation is the name of the NGO that has promoted this producer companies, and they are all members of that. So it is a producer company. We also have products. You're most welcome to, while we brought only a few, but you're most welcome to come and see and also feel the heritage textile. Yeah, and I would also like to Smita. Yeah, Smita.
My name is Prasaranga. This company employee.
And Smita is also the CEO of Chitrika, and their company is entirely run and managed by weavers. So that is another specialty. It is entirely run by weavers. People like we don't do it. So like Pride has been an accountant for a long time with the Chitrika Artisan Producer Group.
You are interested in speaking, I can contact you.
Now, we're moving on to the next session. I'm pleased to introduce Anantu. He is the co-founder of Restore India. And Anantu's work is centered on building a kind of free-directed livelihoods, one-day ecology, crafts, and community. Through July has made significant contributions to the revitalization of rain-fed basic cotton and the reconstruction of the ethical and decentralized textile value chain, all the way from seed to textile. And this work has strengthened farmers' resilience, preserved indigenous cotton varieties, and supported artisans' livelihoods across multiple regions in India. And
Which is better, this or this? Should I talk to this mic or this? Can we have the slide out on that? So after this woman, there is excellent art. What do you call it? So that's a I don't know how much justice I can do. And as always, so I have the actually top writing insurance advertisements. You just give all the money to us and you just get this is just something else. The chemistry is few pointers of what's happening in society and why it's important that some of us really participate in it. In some way or other, as farmers, as many of you here, as consumers, as supporters, as creators, and if you also can run some enterprises around it, it's very, very important. So the Tula story is about that. Tula story started, many of them keep asking, normally we all have friends, right? The regular friends, the good ones, and the real bad ones, the wrong ones. I had one bad friend near me called Vivek Repa, coming from your area. This was not back in 2012, we had failures of GM cotton coming to India, there is a protest. So he was unfortunately and said, we were all agitated. GM cotton, the paid off, GM cotton paid off, this, that, and all. And he was, I said, what? Bloody, your chetty and bunions are BT cotton. Your pant and shirt is BT cotton. All your inners are. We are not able to stop it. You are coming and saying 10 years and what is it? Stop what we go. We are being protesting. We are not even bothered about converting our own consumption. So, and the way he said that, he said, we cotton, shut up, he said. So, that should be real value. At least that I should change. For that time, we were also running food as a store. So, we said, when we were looking at farmers on minutes, we will also do something around water. And at the same time, the rest of 5 years was completed, we were having a meeting and somebody there sitting there said, did you know that 70% of the farm usage are happening in cotton mill? What are you doing for cotton mill? So as it is, we make area for not enough. Somebody makes also produce. And because it is stage, sometimes you react without having, without applying your brain. So what yes, we will start working in cotton. That was our immediate reaction. It is only later we realized it was such a big break and it's not easy. And we didn't know what to do. We just spoke to some farmers and said, yeah, we'll ask our farmers to grow cotton. As long as we grow food, don't just one step. We can just bring wheat and sell it as wheat or wheat flour. Rice and rice flour, or at least food. We didn't know what to do with cotton, but we said we'll ask our farmers to grow cotton. That is how the Convocation started actually. So I'm just going to go over it fast. For us also to understand what happens there and to finally know what we cannot do. That is more important here. So the Convocation started like this, in a very, very unambitious way and in a very unassuming way. Suddenly we got some friends discussing and we just stayed together and we started learning. Yeah, that's it. So it's about an equity, it's about a cotton, the whole value chain. We just thought, can we imagine it as very clean, ethical, and appropriate? So we just wanted everything. So the ecological and economical, both were very important for us. Yeah. So before that, can we understand what is the problem of clothing? If you all know or don't know, the second largest polluting industry in the world is clothing, textiles. So imagine where it is started. It uses around 350 million barrels of oil. The oil that the first industry of polluting is here, which uses 350 million barrels for every consumption. And there is so much of we all know about it. So many things that it was doing, exploitation, both on resources and human, we all were not very keenly observing or understanding, or we were not mostly ignorant. So we were thinking, what can happen there? So we just went around and documenting what is happening in the textile industry. So there was so much of abuse on the environment, on the people, on every resource that was possible. So we said, that's conversation. What can we do? Then we immediately thought of family, very important, just like, okay, Khadi. When we went to a Khadi trade around the country, and saw a lot of, we also saw a lot of problems there. The very fact that Khadi was there, alive, it was because of the government. The very fact that it was struggling, it was because of the government. So government was also fixing a price for that. So when I went around in 2010, a trader who was stitching a pant in Khadi was paying that time when I went around 7 rupees per pant. That trader could stitch 10 pants a day. 70 rupees was her income that day. Imagine. It was the same state for the sprinter, it was the same state for a lever, it was a. So there is a huge thing there. Even if they were doing something by hand, the economy, the esteem was not touching there. So that was also very important. If you can do it. Yeah. And we are all forgetting the true cost. So every time they ask me, Khadi is expensive, oh, this is that is very cheap, why is that cheap? That is cheap because the truth was never come to the fore. You know, running out of your environment, of cleaning up your river, cleaning up civilization, cleaning up people, all the pollution, what people leave behind, nothing matters. So I'm just going to show you some start photos of this. So where we have a human or Homo sapiens, just have no sapiens in what we did around here. Yeah, we'll just rush through those. Yeah, this is Mysuru for you, near Europe, very famous place where the Western world outsources all their power here. You can actually buy BIE or BYE. It's up to you. So your river can die, if you can die, we can all produce shirts and t-shirts for them at dirty cost for them to be happily carry on one way on Friday. So a river, this is the river. And in Europe, if you just go 5 meters down, the water is going to be brackish and black. Forget using it for agriculture. You can't drink, that's another thing. So it's not really I'm talking about. I'm talking about agriculture you can't use. That's how we have spoiled everything around us. Yeah. So this is what we are wearing. We need to understand what goes into your jeans, what goes into our clothing. These are chemicals. It was so harsh and we were so shocked when this all these enter into our food cycle. And it's so casual, you are wearing it day in, day out, you are breathing it day in, day out. The clothing is one of the most abusive as far as toxic hazardous chemicals. So that I mean, there is phthalates or just predominantly formaldehyde is used just left, right, and center. There are so many things we'll just go over. Okay? Yeah. So these are what you see in your books, right? So you can be formaldehyde, the genes, the virtual water behavior genes, or what is happening as a pollution from each of these factories, because humongous. So the environment is not just problem. If we are talking dyeing alone, yes, I'm talking about that. Coloring. 8,000 synthetic dyes are being used. But there is another staggering number there. There is something for 200,000 tons of unbounded dyes. That's what your studies and research papers are today. Unbounded dyes means dyes have been prepared for coloring, they've been manufactured, sold, brought in, but not consumed, and thrown back into the environment. That's the unbounded dyes. They have been, because they just thought they will color something into purple, they will color something into blue, they will color something into pink. They produce those chemicals and God didn't even use them and they threw them again. Most of it will not biodegradable. I mean, degrade at all. So, and
just tell PFC, like I say, this is a very interesting. That's it, you're right. So this is a very interesting thing. That one day, if you are going in a bus from Delhi to Noida, you will see this, and you will see something and also taking selfies. This is a small game outside. This game is totally created by you believe in God or not. This is beautiful. This is created only by humans. We have a bigger creator there. This game is a mound of textile waste just dumped outside Delhi. That one. With all this is what we have done in an extraordinary senseless consumption of textiles. The production has been so very tremendously wrong. Yeah. So this is not a crisis, economic crisis, farmers crisis. Like I was saying, 70% of the farm diseases are happening. 5% of the arable land in India is used for agriculture. 55% of the pesticide that is sold and used in India is used for cotton. So where are we? So cotton is a small split area in agriculture, but we have been abusing it. But cotton is not a split. Historically, we were the first to use cotton. We were basically 40% of the Indian GDP was coming. If you had a GDP or if you were equating to GDP today, it was never there. But 40% of it was cotton. 40% of the world GDP was dominated by us. But where is cotton gone? It was produced like this by hand, without absorbing, basically without abusing your ecology, without abusing people, without exploitation. But that has gone. Gone already. Even with Gandhi was fighting the freedom struggle, where he just brings this as a preference, basically as a symbol of protest, as a symbol of struggle. Even then, they were cutting our raw cotton, taking it there into their plants, making garments and bringing it here. They were cheaper than the Gandhi. But because there was a man like Gandhi who was carrying on, he said, "Let us boycott the foreign cloth." So there was an impact. If you are just going to think, what is there if I don't buy one bottle, if I don't buy one t-shirt, if I don't buy this, what is there? If I say this, so Gandhi is telling there, after all, 1% of the whole population participated in the freedom struggle. Gandhi is telling, do not wear this imported clothing. What happened was, this is 1930. 1930, 30, the state is small, 34, when you see, every few weeks, one big spinning mill was being closed in Manchester or in Manchester. So 64 mills got closed down in just 4 years. So that is the impact of your correcting your consumption. Because this is a small percentage of our people. If you want to look at what is happening to your body. So to look at that, it is very important for us to understand what exactly is going on. That is why I'm just going through this crisis and what is happening in your market or the world. Yeah. So the farmers reality also belongs to the There is no economy there for them, there is no ecology there for them, there is no esteem for them. They are using this harsh chemicals and they are actually affected by this. More like us. So that's the problem there. And finally, they are struggling about what we believe in it. Yes. So the whole value chain is like this. Anyway, now I will not talk about that at all because we saw the whole spinning value chain itself. In spinning itself, there is so much of the cotton is that is also one of the reasons why cotton is very exciting. For a lot of them, whether it is for locals or whether it is for Bengalis, for any of them, it has been extraordinarily interesting and it's an exciting value chain. So you will have the cotton which is grown, which will be spun in the villages, which will be given to the weavers who will be in the villages, it will be dyed by those people today, and it will be tailored there, and it will come out as garments and everything. So it was a local economy. It was about how best it can be within a small scale. So that is how we also had a lot of products that is spawning up in every area. There is also a high level of creativity and innovation in this. Just in this weaving itself. That's why we have hundreds of different styles of weaving also. Yeah. So in this context, where there is so much of abuse, where there is so much problem, there is so much of issues around it, what can Sula do? So we said, our first class, our first was against weaving cotton. So we said, we will have to work with farmers who are conserving traditional Indian cotton. So we just pick that up. Let that be our first response. So we will just buy those cotton and we will just give it to the women who will just hand spin it. Yeah, who will let that go to the people and that will be fine. So, like Samukta was mentioning, it is Ambarchatta. Ambarchatta incidentally in Gandhi was correct because she was now trying, there is having one spindle. So one spindle, and if you do, she was also telling you the numbers. So economically, it's very difficult these days. So even in Gandhi's time, he was thinking of multiplying. So the multi-spindle, that is what is an Ambarchatta. If you all didn't know Ambarchatta, the Gandhi in 1927 announces prize money of 5,000 rupees in those days. But if anybody can come out with a machine that will help the Indian women, rural Indian women, to use and increase her productivity. So 1930, nobody brings anything. So 1930, our man, Gandhi, goes back, looks at it, and wants to increase the price money. Do you have any guess of what he has increased it to? Somebody knows the answer. So it's 1 lakh he did. Gandhi in 1930 increased it to 1 lakh. Unfortunately, it didn't help until he was alive. It was invented only in 1948. Basically, it was by one ASHA or another. That is why it's called the Amber Chakra. So the Amber Chakra has 6 to 8 spindles through which the output can be increased. That's what a rural Indian woman will use to spin. And that yarn comes. So we work with women like a who do that yarn. And that was to the weavers, weaving, of course. Next to agriculture, that was the second largest employer in India. So that is also why it is very important. It's also about why Mahatma Gandhi was obsessed with it is because of the distributedness this brought into the economy. It's about an ecology, it's about how we are taken up, that's a different thing. Nobody else in the world other than these two lead the economy and ecology, that's a different thing. But I'm coming to this. And why they were obsessed was because predominantly a woman-fronted economy. 99 to 100% of the spinning was done by women. 70 to 8% of the work behind the spinner, if a weaver, the pre-load processes was done by women, and stitching was always done by women. So when this goes to the women, this economy, it comes back to the whole. It comes back to welfare for the medicine and the or it comes back to educate the women in the house. It comes back as a tool. It doesn't go to a party, it doesn't go to a party, or it doesn't go for a card, it doesn't go for something else. So it is also the women's centricness that is brought. The distributed that is brought was very, very important, and that's also why they were obsessed with that. That is also a reason why we all need to support this economy that can start and it can become a local economy in basically a meaningful way. So that's like, this is very interesting because we saw that too, that river, so many rivers have died, our soil, our air, whatever, and the amount of chemicals, toxic chemicals, hazardous chemicals that we found. So what is the alternative is natural colors which can come from the plant material. This photo here on the left of the field on the right. That's very, this is an example where I just went there during the lunchtime. You see there, they're all basically this is what's called they're just tying knots with thread and then dye and then they remove it. So they're removing those threads that they have tied for dyeing. So they are just using the easiest tool that they had, the hands and the feet. They were just so their hands, their legs and all. So in fact, if it was a chemical dye, you would not be seeing them with experience. So they were happy doing this. They just when there was lunchtime, they all done this, went to the next tree. Under the tree, they started having lunch. That is how nature really is actually. That is how food really is. That is how it's just a plant material. Our colors basically come from plant materials. It comes from a flower. Blue comes from butterfly pea or something from Prasaranga. Our green comes from Bolivia. That's not it. So each of these are marigold gives us orange. Palace gives us pink. So it is coming from a plant material. It was also a good, very interesting way of a livelihood transformation for our people, the women that we work with. If a woman could do a number of hands, you can go near them in the art, artistry, craft, or whatever. But if you have the 30 counts, for instance, they can do anywhere between 20 to 30. I will take 20 as a norm. If they can do 20 hands, it is 20,000 meters of yarn that they can spin in a day. For 1,000 yarns for a hand, they are paid. When I did it in 2012, they were paid 4 rupees, 3 rupees, 40 rupees. So we started paying them 10, then we then paid 15 rupees per hand. So 20 hands would give you 300. Mostly this is the allied income for the women, not for the spending. So if they were paid some 20 to 30 rupees those days, they were basically having to pay 3 times. Today we pay anywhere between 120. So for a meter, so if a weaver needs 5 meters, they will get 500, which is it's 2 to 3 times higher than the market, but it's peanuts. Which means they will still earn only 15 times a month. That's unfortunate, but that is where it stands. It's an extraordinary craft, extraordinary artisanal product, but still not very good. That is one of the reasons why we are talking here. All of you to also consider this. Every time you have to buy next time, you have to give, or you want somebody else to buy. If you know there is somebody who can afford it, please push them to buy something that is handmade. It can be khadi, it can be pula, it can be any of this handmade. It is very, very important. Yeah. So we started it as a proof of concept. Basically, we just started working with 15 farmers. 30 acres, and miserably failed. We expected 15 tons, we didn't get that. There is an optimal number we need. We got a huge problem because of the drought that year and all. So anyway, but we learned a lot of things. The whole value chain was experimented with the small button, so we could make our mistakes in small button. We just did it. From next year onwards, we just yeah. So we actually scaled it up well. And what we did also, what is important here is we just started with 15 friends giving 1 lakh each to us. With 15 lakhs we started this. We started working with 15 farmers. We expanded to 55 farmers. Then we expanded it more. Then we expanded to 3 states. We didn't go back. We didn't make anything beyond the 15 lakhs. The 15 lakhs also was returned back to all these people before the 50 year. And we have not taken any loan. So it is an enterprise that we can imagine easily because there are a lot of failing institutions in the market which you can tap. You don't have to buy Amritsar. You don't have to buy new small house. If you were to do that also, we have a proper economics where you just invest 1 crore and you can just bring out the return on the investment, total return of investment. That's what we talk. We don't talk about ROI and try to fool people. That can happen in just 2.5 years. We have the numbers for that also. If you were to invest on any of this, even then it is better because in a capitalist world today, if you were to think of 100 livelihoods, the investment per livelihood is anywhere between 4 crores to 10 crores. And if 4 come in 10 years, they said they employ 6,000 people, they invested 8,000 crores, of which 75% of them were earning less than 15,000, less than my beaver. But still we thought it was a development. And what happened there? They closed down. We don't know what happened to that money. They will also be going around like Manya. That's a different thing. So the textile industry is also the second largest FBA in the world. So these are the problems there in the largest side. So we all, unless we all, so many of you, each of us get into this. Thinking about this, if you are an enterprise, if you are somebody like Kiva, then you should have been promoting it. If you are somebody like Usha, work with groups who can basically do traditional economy. If you are somebody like, so all these value chains are behind, all of us can become the consumers of this, which is also very important. Our consumption, like I said, it can easily twist the whole paradigm. Yeah. It is easily, and when I said it was the whole value chain was imagined as a technical and eco-friendly. See, what we said was, I mean, if you want to you'll be very proud because you know that this shirt has, for instance, has touched some 8 to 10 livelihoods. That's one. Number 2, the end of life. Have you ever thought about the end of life of each of the products that we use? Or clothing, what happens? I was showing you that hill of things that was outside the building. This will just become your soil. This can just biodegrade. We also ensure that even the buttons here were not used or open. So the whole thing will biodegrade. We cannot even use the single plastic cutter, we cannot use the plastic cover, we cannot use the plastic card, nothing in this process. So it has been people will get. So if you were giving us 100 rupees to buy something, 80% was going down. So there is no exploitation on the human resources or on your ecological resources. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, this is the beauty of this economy. So 8% will go to 6% will go to the farmer, 12% to the spinning woman, 9% to the dyers, 16% to the weavers, 6% to the designer, 9% to the tailor, 14% is basically for the transport and the coordination. It's something that really being used. And basically the execution 10%, government 11%, that's only from 2017. Before that handmade was not taxed in India, so now they eat more than us, but that's the story of it. But it just gets taxed and distributed as well. So 100 rupees would touch 6 to 8 livelihoods, which is very, very important for us. Yeah. So we have a lot of products. It could be kurtas, beautiful kurtas like this that I can show them, or it could be pants, it could be sarees, it could be towels, it could be fabric, any of this. We basically don't want you to buy if you don't have to buy. But we want all of you to think and nudge and make at least 5 more people to buy something sensible. So there has to be some sensibility and sensibility into our consumption. That is very, very important for us. And as I said again and again, why we talk about Pune repairs, we want more and more people to take to this very simple, easy social enterprise model. We want more and more to work with some farmers, some weavers, some spinners, some tailors, and bring out garments, and then push. You can give that big push to the industry. Yeah. So we also make some of these multi-twisted yarns, which can go as an input for the crochet. Yeah. So we make such beautiful toys. They come from natural dyes, so the kids can even right into their toys. These are coming from our basic cotton, which is natural dye. Yeah. You can see. Yeah. A lot of us have black hair there. These are our spinners in they are One of the ladies there, especially She can't see, but she produces the maximum every day or every month. Month on month, she produces the maximum. She gets maximum in Australia. She does 25 to 28 hands every day, and it's only by hearing and by feeling that she will know if there is a thread that has snapped. Yeah. So yeah, some organizations do come knocking our doors. We didn't even know that somebody in USA chronicled about us, wrote about us into a book that was on textiles, sustainable textiles world over. That is a fiber shaped by Rebecca Burger. That was a very interesting story that we didn't even know that she had written about us. Somebody called us and said, yeah, we want to talk to you about what Rebecca said. Who is Rebecca? She got right. We don't even know Rebecca. She has written about two people. So we had to tell them, no, we don't know. Then she said, there is nothing. I bought that book. What did you see? What Rebecca has written? And Rebecca, how much of what had been written about India? There was only 1.5 pages, and that was what she said that we also made some friends drive from the USA and doing it. But I think you just have to do it. The other thing will follow. Customers also will follow. People also will come and talk about this. And there are many people. There are many people from Mexico who have come. Mexico is not a hand-spinning country by itself. There is a person who was doing by Gandhi, came here, learned spinning, went there in Oaxaca. He started, and there are hundreds of people who are doing spinning, and they have that. Yes, the most important thing is for farmers, there has to be a pricing for farmers, there has to be good schemes, they have to have their own control, it has to be self-reliant, and it has to be a diversity that they can bring in. For the consumers, we have to think harder and deeper for sure. The clothing need not be toxic, but it should also be sourced well, meaningfully in the economy. Yeah, the bigger we can read on please. Next. Yeah, so the choices in front of the synthetic and polluting or organic and ethical. We all have to decide from there. And a lot of you as farmers, I want each one of you to actually go to that in some way or other and get it very impactful on the ground. Yeah. You can start by saying no to GMOs like us, and you can end up with the Tula. You can start to respect sovereignty. You can start to wear your values. That's what we say. That's very, very important. Yeah. I will end with that. If you all plan, I can stop. Thank you. Important announcement. We will have Song for Our Souls by Vasudit Singh. They will here at 8. We will start. So we will want you and to bring a lot of friends because very rarely after years in this, we want to be like 1 hour of singing or understand parallel sessions. So they didn't have a parallel session. They have a beautiful song for you all. Capitalize on it. If not many of you come, then next